What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 7 Hectoliters Chapter 161 Return to Konoha, Pain Invasion. As soon as the word roll reached several people's ears, the figure of the big snake had already disappeared from the spot. Amato looked at the disappearing big snake, but still refused to give up and looked at Qixing. Qixing was speechless when he saw Amato being so obsessed. The more powerful a guy is, the less likely he is to hand over his blood easily, and of course I am no exception. Don't even think about it. But I do have the blood of Hashirama, the god of the ninja world, he said and threw it directly to Amato. At first, Amato opened the bottle cap doubtfully. But the next moment, he quickly blocked the mouth of the bottle and looked around, as if someone would snatch the bottle of blood in his hand. When Qixing saw that the matter was over, he was ready to take Chi away from here, but Chi got angry for some reason and said he wanted to observe and learn here. Qixing naturally did not disagree, because no matter what Chi learned, it would become part of Qixing's memory after fusion in the future. So Qixing is happy to see Chi and try new things. This is one of the reasons why Chi has super talent, but Qixing ignores Chi. Seeing that things here were basically settled, Qixing also planned to prepare for the battle against Pain. This mission is a reward worth 30,000 points, so there is no room for failure. As he spoke, his body flashed and disappeared into the dilapidated hall. Looking at the Ant King again, when this guy saw Qixing leaving, he immediately took out the token given by Qixing and handed it to Long Xuanji. When Long Xuanji saw this, she smiled and said, "Meluum, it's a very good name, but I am no longer the head of the Tianshou sect. As for the resources, just leave it to Shushin. Let's go, let's talk as we go." After Qixing and others left the hall, Chi, a familiar person, started chatting with Amma, and the conversation became more and more heated. After learning that Chi was the incarnation of Qixing, Amato's eyes glowed green, as if he had discovered a new world. Because compared to studying the 7 stars, this external incarnation is more valuable for research. Amato is also a human spirit and wants to benefit from Chi. Chi also had a purpose in doing this. He really wanted to get a perfect body from Amato so that little Didi could be reborn. I really didn't expect that this guy, despite his unremarkable appearance, was very fond of little Didi. Of course, this purpose is another matter. Amato's request was also very simple. He wanted to study Chi's body and see how Qixing managed to make a clone possess such powerful autonomous abilities. This provides advanced value with research on later clones. But it's a pity that Amato's calculation is destined to be wrong, because Chi's existence is not entirely given by the 7 stars, but more by the system, which plays a key role in it. It's so difficult to study. But Amato doesn't know all this. At this moment, he was still looking at Chi and little Didi beside him with eagerness. I am excited that I got so much experimental materials this time. At the same time, when Nanahoshi walked out of Tianshou Gate and was about to return to Konoha, he was detained by Orochi and White Snake Sage. At this moment, Orochi looked at Nanahoshi and said seriously, "Sir, I feel that those guys are very dangerous. I'm afraid their motives are not pure." Haha. Orochi, are you talking about Amato or Chi? My lord. You don't need to tell me, I understand that it's not that big of a deal. As long as you are strong enough, any factors that are detrimental to you will be turned into a boost for your growth. I understand, sir. As soon as the big snake finished speaking, Biphosphorus beside him hesitated to speak. When Qixing saw Biphosphorus like this, he couldn't help but smile and said, "As a member of your own family, if you have any questions, just tell me." Hearing this, Biphosphorus said, "Sir, a few months ago, there was an interesting little guy who passed the test of my Ryuchi Cave. His talent is very suitable for the inheritance of my Ryuchi Cave. So I will use Ryuchi Cave's magic, passed it to him." "Oh, is he Orochimaru's disciple? He's a very smart guy." Advertisement, "Yes my lord, you know him." "No, I don't know him yet, but soon everyone in the ninja world will know. Kabuto Orochi. I didn't expect him to have come this far. You did the right thing." Then he took out a spirit-gathering pill and threw it to Biphosphorus, "A reward for you." At this moment, Biphosphorus took the elixir in confusion. He wanted to ask why there was a reward, but he held it back. Then he put the elixir into his mouth. The moment the elixir was about to enter his mouth, he was stopped by the big snake. "White phosphorus is not a good place for a breakthrough. Let's go, I will take you to a place without any restraints. There will be a new beginning for you." With that said, the two held hands and disappeared in front of Qixing. Qixing curled his lips when he saw this scene. "Nima, I accidentally ate a bunch of dog food. No, it should be a bunch of snake food. Forget it, business matters." After saying that, the figure also disappeared into Tianshou Gate. And the moment Qixing used the teleportation array to return to Konoha's secret building, an uninvited guest also arrived outside Konoha village. If Qixing was here, he would definitely recognize this guy. He is looking for Tiandao Pain, one of the 6 paths of pain. At this moment, Tiandao Pain was discovered by Konoha's inspection team as soon as he appeared. But at the moment when several people wanted to go back to report the news, their bodies were uncontrollable and they came to Tiandao Pain. It was just a face-to-face. 4 Chunin from the inspection team was easily dispatched by Pain. The ability Pain used was one of Rinnegan's abilities, Universal Pull. After killing several people, Conan appeared next to Tiandao Pain with 5 pain. These people are the 6 paths of pain: Heavenly Path, Shira Path, Human Path, animal path, hungry Kido, and hell path. When the six paths gather together, Konoha village will face the most tragic destruction in history. As for six paths pain, the purpose this time is of course Nine Tails Jinchuriki, Naruto. At this moment, Tiandao Pain opened his mouth to deploy this search plan. After entering Konoha, the Shura path, the animal path, hungry Kido are responsible for the feigned attack, the heavenly path, the human path, and the hell path are responsible for searching for this target. Conan also worked with the search team to find the target. After everything was arranged, Tendo Pain, using the Rinnegan, saw the spherical barrier above Konoha. Then he looked at the hungry Kido next to him, throw the animal path into the barrier, allowing Konoha to misjudge the number of people, and then the others will enter Konoha through the summoning technique. Several people nodded. Tiandao looked at Konoha village ahead, start taking action and let the world feel the pain. As soon as he finished speaking, the animal path had been thrown out and flew straight towards the sky barrier. The moment he entered Konoha, he was discovered by Konoha's barrier team, but just as Tendo Pain expected, the people of Konoha really thought that one person had invaded Konoha. Only a few people were assigned to check the intruders, but with this contempt, all six pains had invaded Konoha village. The moment the ninja team came to check on the intruders and saw the six pain, they looked confused and asked their partners beside them. Damn, didn't those guys from the barrier class say that only one person invaded Konoha? Why did six of them suddenly appear? Go and report it to Master Hokage, go quickly. Chapter 162 destroyed Konoha, but before a few people could leave, Konoha was already in chaos. First, Shura Dao released his ability. 5 bombs flew into the sky from his hands, and then fell quickly. The huge explosion caused the villagers of Konoha to panic. Then the animal path formed a seal with both hands, and several huge summoning beasts, the Centipede King, rushed out from behind it. Start destroying the village. Kido, on the other hand, directly looked for nearby ninjas and asked for news about Nine Tails. And this scene happened to be seen by Konoha's inspection team. Several people began to use fire style, fireball, water style, water dragon bomb, wind style, wind sickle, pounce on hungry Kido. But without exception, these ninjutsu were all absorbed by hungry Kido. Immediately, with a flash of his body, he killed these Konoha patrol team ninjas with a single blow. At this moment, the members of the barrier class looked confused when they saw the smoke outside. Well, only one person invaded Konoha. Okay. It seems like it was invaded by an army. What's going on? Send someone to check. On the other side, in a building, Shizune finally figured out the function of the black rod on Pain's body after a long period of research. This thing is the receiver of chakra. Nagato also uses this receiver to control 6 Pain, and this receiver must have a distance limit. Then it is obvious that Nagato is near Konoha. Just when Shizune wanted to report this news to Tsunade, a huge explosion occurred. At this moment, Shizune's building was directly hit by a missile and collapsed instantly. In order to protect some research evidence, Shizune was also buried underground. At this moment, the destruction is still continuing, and various bombs from Shura Dao are flying all over the sky. Konoha village has been badly damaged. But there are 2 places where everything is peaceful. It is Ichiraku Ramen Shop and Chinjilu. These 2 buildings were strangely untouched by any artillery fire. Even the huge summoning beast deliberately avoided these 2 places. Some sharp-eyed villagers thought they had found shelter and walked into the Tianji building and the Ichiraku Ramen tube. But at the moment when people were about to pour into the Ichiraku Ramen tube, a laser missile fired by Shura Dao should have hit the 1,000-meter tall building outside made an incredible turn and headed towards the Ichiraku Ramen tube. Seeing this scene, people fled towards the gate of Konoha. The moment the shells fell, a golden light flashed in Uncle Ichiraku's eyes, and the entire ramen shop disappeared in an instant. The bomb also exploded at the moment the ramen restaurant disappeared. There was a huge roar, and only a pit was left where the ramen restaurant was. People didn't have time to see if the ramen restaurant looked good. They just ran away in other directions crazily. When everyone in the Tianji building heard that the Ichiraku ramen tube next door was blown up, they were shocked, and at the same time, they also jumped from the Tianji building. He ran out, afraid that if he took one step slower, he would end up like Ichiraku ramen tube. The people who were running at this moment were in disbelief. Such a powerful Konoha was actually destroyed and devastated. No matter how crazy it is outside, it is quiet and peaceful inside Tianji Tower. The remaining diners had already fled in order to save their lives, while Itachi, who had just recovered half of his health, was standing on the 2nd floor of the Tianji building, looking at the Konoha that continued to be destroyed with complex eyes, and powerless grief and indignation welled up in his heart. At this moment, Itachi echoed the words, "Wherever the leaves are flying, the fire is endless." But in this era of Konoha, can the will of fire still burn? Faced with such a disaster, will Danzo really give up becoming a Hokage and protect Konoha? Quan was on the side, looking at Itachi with a worried look, and said, "Itachi, you haven't recovered yet and can barely control your body to walk. Things here are naturally arranged by Brother Qixing. You don't have to worry too much." As soon as Quan finished speaking, Qixing appeared next to the 2 of them. "Itachi, Izumi is right. Take good care of your injuries. When your body recovers, I still have things to give you. Konoha has its own destiny." "Yes, I understand." As he spoke, Quan supported the trembling Itachi and walked towards his room. Advertisement. When the 2 disappeared from Qixing's sight, Qixing looked not far away with a serious face and murmured. It's such a rare opportunity. I was looking for you, but I didn't expect you to come to the door yourself. Before he finished speaking, Qixing was already standing at the top of Tianji Tower. The complex marks of his hands continued to hit the Tianji Tower. In just a few breaths, Konoha's landmark building disappeared out of thin air. Looking at Qixing again, a small tower is standing and spinning in Qixing's hands. Qixing put away the Tianji Tower casually, and shot towards the position of Tiandao Pain like an arrow from a string. At this time, Tiandao Pain was being entangled by Kakashi. Originally, Tendo Pain just wanted to ask where Naruto was, but Kakashi talked a lot and didn't get to the point. Tendo Pain, who could not bear it, kicked Kakashi in the abdomen, but Kakashi was also awesome. He just turned his body in a circle with an iron bridge and avoided Pain's attack. Then Kaga quickly formed a seal with his hands, and slapped his hands towards the ground. Earth style. Earth flow wall. I saw 3 walls with dog heads appearing behind Pain, squeezing towards Pain, but Pain didn't care. The black stick directly penetrated Kakashi's shoulder, and Kakashi stretched his right hand forward and used Reikiri. I want to come up with a strategy that injures the enemy by 100 and damages myself by 200. But I thought that face to face, at such a close distance, it should be a 100% hit. But who would have thought that a Rinnegan flashed past, and Kakashi's Reikiri hit his earth flow wall directly. Kakashi didn't know what just happened, and Pain asked again, where is Nine Tails? But Kakashi ignored him and just used Reikiri again. The lightning entangled in Kakashi's hand and stretched rapidly, only 1 centimeter closer to Pain's cheek. Tendo Pain used the Shinra Tensai, directly sending Kakashi and Reikiri flying 100 meters. After the smoke cleared, Kakashi climbed out of the ruins. The most important thing now is to figure out Pain's ability. After thinking for 3 seconds, Kakashi started to try again. He saw a lightning chain shining in his right hand. The lightning quickly flew towards Pain, but before the chain could touch it, Heaven's Path Pain failed again. Kakashi was a little confused at the moment. How could this guy be able to deflect any ninjutsu? Didn't he have any flaws? While Kakashi was thinking about a solution, Shira Dao attacked from behind. The moment he landed, Shira Dao directly took off his arm, and a huge cannon barrel appeared. Without saying a word, he released several missiles. The smoke produced by the missiles was simply terrifying. But what he doesn't know yet is that in this ninja world, the bigger the smoke, the less likely it is to hurt anyone. Sure enough, Kakashi took advantage of the huge smoke and went around behind him, and Reikiri slashed towards Shira Dao's head. But all of Pain shared the same field of vision, and Shira Dao avoided Reikiri's attack without even looking back. Kakashi understood, this is the vision sharing that Toad Fukasaku said. And just when Kakashi was thinking about countermeasures again, the battle situation on the battlefield was changing. Shira Dao took off his shirt and his body quickly turned into a monster with 3 heads and 6 arms. The strangest thing about this monster was that there was a thing coming out from behind his butt. A giant sword. Before Kakashi could be shocked, Tendo Pain took action again. At this moment, a terrifying suction force pulled Kakashi's body. At this moment, Kakashi seemed to understand the ability of Tiandao Pain. Quickly use the chain to save yourself. But Pain's suction was too strong, and the gravitational force on Kakashi made it impossible for him to break free. In the end, Kakashi was pulled out by Shira Dao with a giant-toothed sword from behind his buttocks and pierced directly through his body. Chapter 163 7 stars shine on the appearance. Just when Shira Dao thought that Kakashi was dead, Kakashi's body suddenly exploded at this moment, and the thunder and lightning generated by the explosion swept across a kilometer in radius. What Pain didn't expect was that this was just a lightning-style shadow clone. Such a realistic clone of lightning style actually escaped the detection of Tendo Pain. Kakashi deserves to be Konoha's super talented ninja. After the explosion, the thunder and lightning released by this clone directly paralyzed Shira Dao and Tiandao Pain on the spot. At this moment, a pair of huge fists in the sky struck towards the heads of Heavenly Dao and Shira Dao. But Tiandao Pain had already used a substitute to avoid the moment the lightning eroded his body, but Shira Dao was not so lucky. He was smashed into pieces by fists falling from the sky and lay on the ground with sparks. At this moment, Akamichi Dingza and Akamichi Choji and his son appeared on the stage. Their doubled bodies fell to a rock, and the real Kakashi also stood up from behind the rock. At this moment Konoha's reinforcements arrived in time. Everyone formed a triangle to surround Tiandao Pain, but Pain didn't care who his opponent was. Killing the blockers in front of him and finding 9 tails was the most important thing. Tiandao acted immediately. The people surrounding Tiandao threw shurikens and various kunai to attack Tiandao Pain. Seeing that Ijin was unable to dodge countless attacks, Tiandao Pain directly released Rinnegan's secret technique, Shinra Tenjung, while running. Everyone felt a terrifying repulsive force, which bounced all weapons and attacks back. In an instant, there were a lot of casualties, and only Ding Zhao, his son, and Kakashi were left, and they could only dodge desperately. Then Kakashi threw a smoke bomb and took the 2 of them to hide under a stone slab. The 3 began to exchange information and roughly guessed the abilities of Tendo Pain. Kakashi said, "This guy's ability must have a cooling time, so we have to take advantage of this time limit to attack him. I will sneak under his feet, release 2 chains, and the 2 of you will attack with a body munition chariot." Soon the 3 people's battle plan was simply agreed upon, and Tendo Pain, who was looking for Kakashi, Suddenly flew out from under his feet a kunai with thunder and lightning. But how could such an ordinary attack break the defense of the bird god Luo Tianzheng? In less than a second, he was bounced 10 meters away. Pain mocked. Your movements are very beautiful, and your ninjutsu is also very complicated. If I don't kill you early, you will be in trouble later. As he spoke, he walked closer to Kakashi, but the next moment, the meat bomb chariots of Ding Zhao and his son rushed towards Pain from both sides, but the cooldown time of Pain's repulsion skill was extremely short. Shinra Tianzheng was used again, and the two people's attacks were instantly deflected, but it was not over yet. The moment the two were deflected, two thick chains were pulled up and tied directly to Pain. Kakashi took advantage of the moment when Tendo Pain was controlled and used Raikiri head-on, directly hitting Tendo Pain who had no way to hide. But this perfect plan, and the super powerful Raikiri, were actually blocked by the already smashed Shira Dao. At this moment, Kakashi tried hard to pierce Shira Dao's body, but the 5 seconds of Tendao Pain's Shinra Tensai had expired, and the skill cooldown ended. Just listen to him shout loudly. The invisible repulsion force around him exploded, and the terrifying aftermath directly shattered a kilometer radius. Akamichi Ding only had time to activate his teleportation to block the fatal blow for his son. The next second, he was seriously injured and passed out. And Kakashi was not much better, his whole body was half buried in the loess. The two of them had eaten the Shinra Tensai of Heaven's Way, and they were lucky that they didn't die on the spot. But Tendo Pain would not give Kakashi a chance to stand up, so he immediately pulled a steel nail and shot it directly into Kakashi's head. Kakashi's brain shook and finally drooped. Seeing Kakashi's death, Tendo Pain flew away, and this scene happened to be seen by Qixing hidden in the sky. Qixing looked at Pain leaving and couldn't help shaking his head. The strength this guy is showing now is only beyond the peak of cage level, and there is no 6 paths as imagined. Class. But the system will never issue such a simple mission. Do you need 6 Pain to merge? They will only merge when they activate the ultimate ninjutsu, so the moment they use the large-scale Shinra Tensai, they must be the strongest state. Very good, then let's fight him hard at that time. Advertisement, Uchiha Qixing, will never be in vain. There is another reason not to take action now, which is to take action when Konoha is destroyed, so as to show the magic and power of the master of Tianji Tower. Thinking of this, Qixing accelerated directly and kept up with Pain's pace. At this moment, Tendo Pain came to the roof of the building where Tsunade was. The moment Tsunade saw him, he recognized him as Yahiko. But Tiandao Pain didn't talk nonsense, he just said, "Tell me the location of 9 tails. All the tailed beasts have been captured. It's useless for you to protect 9 tails. Otherwise Konoha will cease to exist. This is God's final warning." After speaking, wait for the other party's reply. But before the other party could say anything, Pain, the heavenly Dao, actually received information from the human Dao. Naruto trains at Mount Myoboku. After learning this result, Tiandao Pain said coldly, 9 tails is actually in that toad's ninja village, so there is no need for it to exist here. At the end of Versailles, Tendo Pain flew into the sky alone. Tsunade kept calling Yahiko and so on, but Tendo Pain really didn't hold him in his arms. Just give a loud shout and let the world feel the pain. After speaking, he raised his hands in the air and launched the Shinra Tianzheng. A terrifying repulsive force directly acted on the entire Konoha village. The scope is daunting. The moment he finished shouting these words, Konoha village began to dissipate from the center. Tens of thousands of people below were just watching the godlike man in the sky destroying Konoha, but they could do nothing but pray for a miracle. Just when everyone was despairing that Konoha would be wiped out like this, Qixing finally took action against Tendo Pain. Although there was a suspicion of a sneak attack, I just felt very uncomfortable. Looking at the opponent Versailles, I really couldn't hold back and didn't want to slap him in the face. I saw the figure of 7 stars flashing over the top of Pain's head while he was casting a spell. A powerful whip hit Pain's face. This blow was like the weight of a mountain. Pain's body had no time to react, and it flew instantly like an arrow off the string. Towards the earth, there was a sudden explosion from the earth at this moment, and the smoke and dust filled up and obscured half of Konoha village. Look at the smoke and dust in the sky, and then look at the man who looks like a god in the sky. Everyone was stunned. This was not the person just now. Why was he replaced so quickly? Everyone who had not yet reacted looked up in confusion. Tsunade was shocked and said, "Uchiha Itachi, didn't the intelligence say he was dead? How would it appear here?" Just as everyone was talking, the smoke and dust on the ground had dissipated and Tendo Pain rose into the sky again, looking at Uchiha Qixing in front of him. "I've heard about you a long time ago. You're Itachi's brother, right? But this is the first time I've seen you. Do you want to learn from those self-proclaimed guys to protect Konoha?" Qixing heard this and smiled. "Of course not. Konoha is not my home. I just want to fight you to see how strong the current leader of the Akatsuki organization is." Tiandao Pain's deeply frowned brows relaxed. "I don't care what your purpose is, but as long as you block God's plan, you will definitely be included in God's death list. Tremble, mortal. Chapter 164 Pain's 6 paths is about to be reunited." As soon as he finished speaking, Tiandao Pain's figure disappeared in the air, and he came to Qixing's side in an instant. His right leg showed a powerful force and kicked towards Qixing. Qixing smiled contemptuously, stretched out his left hand, and firmly held Tiandao Pain's big foot. "Why, don't you use your full strength when facing me, Or are you afraid that you will die if you use your full strength? Nagato, how dare you call yourself a god like this? When Qixing called out his name, Tiandao Pain was obviously startled. Something suddenly came to mind, and I broke out in a cold sweat. At the same time, I was also wondering, how could he know the name of the original body? Could it be? While Tiandao Pain was stunned, Qixing didn't care what you were thinking. You dare to be distracted even if you were my opponent. Immediately, he used his right hand to violently throw Tiandao Pain towards the ground. Before Tiandao Pain could stabilize his body, the seven-star figure quickly followed up, and at the same time, he launched a falling strike. I saw fire coming out of Qixing's right leg at this moment, hitting Tiandao Pain's abdomen head-on. Tendo Pain was directly lifted from the sky to the earth. When the onlookers of Konoha village saw this scene, they screamed and fled in all directions for fear of being affected. On the ground, there was a muffled sound, a huge crater hundreds of meters long appeared, and then smoke and dust filled the air. 7 stars tapped the sky with their fingers. Wind style. Use the wind, the strong wind blows, and the smoke and dust dissipate. When Qixing looked thousands of meters ahead, Tiandao Pain was standing there panting. The figure at Qixing's feet has turned into a beast. This is exactly the ability of Pain's ring eye, which is to change his body. At some point, Pain actually used this technique and escaped the instant kill of 7 stars falling from the sky. At this time, Tiandao Pain, who was thousands of meters away, knew that Qixing's physical skills were very strong, and he would not easily step forward to fight. Just activate Shinra Tensai and Universal Pull at the same time. I saw countless iron nails, kunai and sharp weapons, all lying in the air and rushing toward the 7 stars. But Qixing just stood there, motionless. The sharp weapons all over the sky seemed to hit the air, and they all penetrated Qixing's body. At this moment Nanahoshi activates Kamui Hollow. Ignore all kinds of attacks. When Tiandao Pain saw this familiar ability, he was shocked and wanted to verify his suspicion. Then he quickly made seals with his hands and shouted loudly, "Planetary devastation." I saw a small black hole-like ball. The moment it was thrown towards the 7 stars, countless earth and rocks flew directly towards the black hole-like small ball. Qixing was only slightly surprised, and then he took half a step back. He inhaled sharply, and his body kept shaking. The frequency of his body shaking at this moment actually turned the land with a radius of 3,000 meters into ruins in an instant. At the same time, the ground continued to crack, and Qixing, the upper body of his body, was also bulging rapidly at the same time. His muscles were all tangled, and his figure was even taller by 10 feet. The clothes on his upper body were directly stretched by the muscles. Just listen to Qixing shouting loudly, "She penetrates the rainbow." Everyone saw a super powerful wind sword spit out from Qixing's mouth. The wind sword pierced the center of the black hole, and the sound of click, click, click was heard endlessly. But black holes are not that easy to destroy, only small cracks appear. And it is constantly absorbing various nearby substances to increase its size. Seeing this, Qixing gathered all his energy into his hands, and his big hands suddenly shot forward in unison. A loud popping sound spread throughout the ears of everyone in Konoha. Where the 2 palms came into contact, an extremely sharp shockwave hit the planetary devastation like teleportation. With a click, the sphere formed by planetary devastation finally could not withstand this terrifying cutting force. At this moment, it shattered into countless pieces, and the black hole in the center also quietly dissipated. Advertisement Tiandao Pain, who saw this scene, was also shocked and incoherent. Because even if his attack was a real 6 pads level, it would be impossible to break it so easily. But the person in front of me, obviously. What comes to mind? Tiandao Pain used Rinnegan to carefully check the strength of the person in front of him, and was shocked again. What? This guy is a 6 pads level existence. And Nagato, who was hiding in a tree hole, was also shocked by the strength of Nanahoshi. This is impossible, the real 6 pads level. How could a strong man who has already reached the level of Sage of 6 paths appear in Konoha village, the country of fire? The Akatsuki organization didn't have any information about this person before. Nagato was so shocked that he almost forgot to control Tendo Pain to launch an attack. Tiandao Pain, who was standing still at this moment, did not feel the shrinkage of Qixing's figure at all. Qixing, on the other hand, released all the energy in his body, only to see his original height of 4 meters. In an instant, he lost weight and returned to his original shape. And an invisible arrow blade shot towards Tiandao Pain without any trace. Pain, who sensed the danger, only had time to use the Rinnegan to check the trajectory of the danger before his body was pierced by invisible air arrows. Then it flew 100 meters away, and its body was stuck on the ground. The 3 Pains who were still alive at this time all sensed that Tiandao Pain was seriously injured, and directly reversed the summoning technique and came to Tiandao Pain's side. Seeing the Hell Realm, he slapped his hands on the ground and directly summoned an illusory King of Hell. Reincarnation technique is activated. The King of Hell instantly opened his big mouth, stretched out a long purple tongue with hands, and put the damaged Pain into the King of Hell's mouth, and saw the King of Hell chewing the heavenly Dao Pain crazily. In just 3 breaths, when Tiandao Pain was spit out again, he was resurrected with full blood. Then the dead animal path and the Shira path were processed in the same way. At this time, the 6 paths of Pain finally gathered in front of the 7 stars. Seeing this, Qixing also understood the effect of the King of Hell, which was to perform the resurrection ceremony by chewing it. All I can say about this ability is that he truly deserves to be a Rinnegan, but even so, you are still too weak. After saying that, Qixing directly used Zhu Ling to send generals, trying to control the phantom of the King of Hell. But the system's ruthless prompts made Qixing give up this idea. Ding! The level of the King of Hell is too high, and the Zhuling's end will not be able to interfere with him. Please host spend 1000 points to cover up your chi, otherwise there is a risk of being discovered by the King of Hell. Close black lens bracket. Damn, I'm losing money this time. Cover it up, or you'll be in big trouble. But the system, I really want to know where this King of Hell lives. Ding! Pure Land World. Close black lens bracket. Oh, the Pure Land is really a big world. It's interesting. After I finish the 4 battles in the ninja world, I will go to the Pure Land. Let's deal with the immediate trouble first. After saying this, Qixing smiled contemptuously. 6 paths pain. Pain 6 paths. Please merge, otherwise, you will have no chance to fight me. The existence you are facing now cannot be defeated with your current strength. I don't find it interesting to beat a weakling, even if I win. When the resurrected Tendo Pain heard this, his eyes narrowed slightly and he hid in the distance. Nagato in the tree hole took a deep breath and seemed to have made some kind of decision in his heart. Conan, who was guarding Nagato on the side, said in surprise. Nagato, no, if you do this, you will only have 1 day left in your life. Nagato. Don't want. Chapter 165 Wanlei Heavenly Prison. But how could Conan persuade Nagato, Changmen, at this moment, although Nagato had countless tubes inserted all over his body and his body was so weak that he could only lie on the bed, his will was extremely tenacious. Conan turned his head away unbearably, because once Nagato performs this technique, his life will come to an end. At this moment, Nagato kept changing the hand seals with his hands, and heard his horse roar. The power of 6 paths, the 6 paths are united and united. Qixing, who was confronting the 6 pains, only saw 6 pains in front of them. Their bodies quickly gathered around them, holding the seal of Gi with both hands at the same time. The body became more and more unreal, and at a certain moment, the figures of 6 people overlapped. The 6 pens strangely merged into one. But when Rinnegan turned on the 7 stars and looked at the 6 people, the 6 pain were still standing in the same place, but the bodies of the other 5 had become empty shells, and all the energy in the body was concentrated in the body of Tiandao Pain. The 5 figures of pain slowly fell to the ground, leaving only Tiandao Pain standing there calmly. No, it shouldn't be called Heavenly Pain. At this time, it should be said to be the real 6 paths Pain. Qixing saw this and smiled lightly. Yes, you are qualified to fight with me. When Pain heard this, he said the word, death, and rushed directly towards Qixing, trying to collide with Qixing's physical skills. Qixing also launched a frontal attack. The fists and feet of the 2 men were waving in midair, and the sky had left countless afterimages due to their fight. Because of the battle between the 2, there was a terrifying muffled thunder in the sky, which frightened the surviving people in Konoha. The afterimages of the battle were blurry. Could it be that this was really a battle between gods? While everyone was still whispering and discussing the battle in the sky, Tendo Pain relies on a pair of Rinnegan, constantly using short-distance universal pull, and Shinra Tenjung to attack and defend the 7 stars. The 7 stars also intentionally want to test Pain's strength, but just take various attacks head-on. But suddenly, red rays of light flew out from Pain's fingers, and the rays of light grew in the wind. The moment they were separated from Pain's fingers, they turned into missiles the size of fists. This is exactly the ability of Shira Dao used by the combined 6 paths Pain, true 5-finger missile. 5 missiles with red light flew towards Qixing rapidly. Qixing had already felt the power of these 5 missiles. While retreating rapidly, Qixing quickly formed seals with his hands. Fire style. Fire Dragon Flame. At this moment, the flames in Qixing's hands expanded rapidly after being released, directly turning into 5 fire dragons. The fire dragon roared and flew towards the 5 missiles. The moment the 2 collided, a super powerful explosion swept through half of Konoha. Fires flew all over the sky. The strong winds whipped up the fire and burned the buildings of Konoha. The powerful collision shockwave, half of Konoha was destroyed. Tsunade was heartbroken when he saw this, but no one is qualified to participate in the battle between those 2 guys. Maybe Naruto can have a 50-50 draw with those 2 guys when he comes back, but Konoha is in danger now. All Tsunade can do at this moment is summoning a giant clone of Katsuyu to save those who have a chance to survive. As soon as Katsuyu Sage's clone appeared, he had already spotted the 2 people fighting in the sky. The 2 tentacles were swaying non-stop, as if they were exploring something. The next second, Katsuyu Sage separated into thousands of individuals, used space teleportation, looked for people who were still alive, and attached directly to his shoulders. This can also ensure that the remaining people survive the aftermath of this battle. Now look at the 2 figures fighting in the low air. I saw 6 paths Pain, shouting loudly, stretching his right arm forward, holding his right arm with his left hand. A large mouth was opened in the center of the right palm. The powerful fire-tracking bullet was released, and a large mouth suddenly spurted out from the large mouth in the palm of the hand. The oversized missile flew rapidly towards Qixing. Qixing smiled disdainfully, waved his hand, and a strong wind suddenly rose in the sky, and he heard a loud shout, wind style, super vacuum continuous bombs. Advertisement countless transparent, Fist-sized wind bombs were seen flying towards the high-fire tracking missiles, but the missiles seemed to have eyes and avoided countless vacuum bombs, directly hitting the 7 stars. Nanahoshi did not dodge this time, nor did he have the ability to use his eyes, Kamui Hollow. Instead, he crossed his hands to protect his cheeks. The missile was exploded before it even touched the 7 stars. There was a loud bang. Like a gorgeous firework, there was an explosion in the sky less than 100 meters above Konoha. There was a rumble, and as the smoke filled the air, a figure flew directly backwards out of the smoke. He crashed into ruins not far away. Who else could this person be if he wasn't Qixing? Qixing stabilized his body, stood up, patted the dirt on his body, and said with a smile, "The power is not bad. Are there any stronger moves? If not, I will take action." Pain in the sky saw that the 7 stars were unscathed. The moment Rinnegan shrank rapidly, he also landed on the ground. He stretched his hands forward and continuously used the enhanced version of the summoning technique. This is truly one of the abilities of the animal realm. Increase summoning. Summoning technique, Gedo statue. Everyone saw a huge humanoid creature with 9 eyes. Its color and body were like dead wood, with 10 pillars protruding from its back. The mouth is full of fangs and looks extremely ugly. Qixing knows that this Gedo statue is the 10 tails body that has been extracted from chakra, but as a mummy body, it still has tenacious vitality. At this time, Pain's summoning technique is not finished yet. Summoning. Amplifies giant centipedes. Summoning. Amplifies Cerberus. Summoning. Wild rhinoceros. Summoning. Bull demon king. After 5 consecutive summoning operations, 5 huge summoning beasts have surrounded Qixing. But Qixing didn't panic at all. Grinning, 2 groups of light, 1 black and 1 white, were instantly thrown into the sky in his hands. Then there was a loud shout. Space Thunder Method. 10,000 Thunder Heavenly Prison leads, Thunder comes. As soon as the words were shouted, the chi in Qixing's body was consumed rapidly. In just 3 breaths, 70% of it was already used up. Countless dark clouds are gathering in the sky, and violent lightning in the black clouds is rapidly condensing. At this moment, the 7 stars are like real gods, illuminated by white flashes. The 7 stars that fell on the ground were also within the attack range of his Super S-level ninjutsu, 10,000 Thunder Heavenly Prison. Seeing this kind of terrifying thunder and lightning, Qixing was one of the excited ones. Because he knows that this is the ability that can hurt him. The people of Konoha had already fled Konoha when they saw the thunderclouds in the sky. Seeing this terrifying thundercloud, Tsunade felt despair in his heart. Really? I saw Qixing waving his hands downward. Countless thunderbolts rushed out from the thunderclouds and attacked the entire Konoha indiscriminately. No one within the range can dodge this blow. Even if they use space ninjutsu, their body will be locked, and Qixing has no intention of evading it. Bathing in the lightning under his own ninjutsu, Qixing could not help but increase his S-cell activity. The moment lightning falls, thunder struck the ground like rain, and the sound of explosions was heard endlessly. Konoha village, shrouded in thunderclouds, was riddled with holes and turned into ruins in front of this terrifying thunder. Advertisement Chapter 166 The Disappeared Konoha Village, and 30,000 points obtained. At this time, Konoha has been removed from the ninja world. When Pain saw this scene, he was a little shocked. Isn't this what I want to do by destroying Konoha? Suddenly, 6 paths Pain felt that the guy in front of him was working with him. But when Pain looked at his summoning beasts, he extinguished such boring thoughts. The dozens of summoning beasts that had just been summoned and besieged him were all submerged in the sea of thunder. Even if they did not die on the spot, they were paralyzed and lost their combat effectiveness. Even he felt the terror of this thunder, and instantly created a 360-degree protective shield around his body to continuously offset the thunder. This is the ability of Tiandao Pain to control gravity and repulsion. Force shield. At the same time, Gedo statue released a huge amount of thunder and lightning from behind to compete with the sea of thunder in the sky, and also protected 6 paths Pain under him. The violent thunder and lightning in the sky kept bombarding Gedo statue's body, but Gedo statue was a corpse after all, and he didn't know Pain at all. At this moment, 6 paths Pain was controlling him very well, and it could be said that he had basically offset the thunder falling towards him. Pain is temporarily safe at this moment. But the entire land of Konoha is not so lucky. It was already destroyed and dilapidated, and now it is still being ravaged by lightning, and the land is falling. It has sunk down dozens of meters deep. A group of people who ran to the outskirts of Konoha saw the ending of Konoha. The attitude of thanking Qixing for rescuing them instantly turned into hatred. But Qixing wouldn't care what these little people think. Not many people know me anyway. At this time, the Thunder Sea continued to fall, and Pain was still resisting, but several of his summoning beasts had been killed and injured in the continuous Thunder Sea. Qixing saw that Pain relied on the Gedo statue and did not suffer much damage in the Thunder Sea, so he simply stopped wasting his energy and removed the Thunder Sea with a wave of his hand. At the same time, a fairy bean was also swallowed by Qixing. In an instant, the energy that was about to be consumed was restored to full value. At this moment, when the two figures faced each other, 6 paths Pain had already discovered the changes in the 7 stars. He didn't want to drag it out any longer, so he murmured, "That guy can instantly recover all his energy. What kind of freak is this?" As the words fell, 6 paths Pain quickly formed seals with his hands while controlling Gedo statue, and Gedo statue spat out a purple chakra dragon from its mouth. The moment Qixing saw the purple dragon, He understood the dragon's ability. As long as the object the purple dragon came into contact with, the chakra would be sucked out instantly. When Qixing saw this purple dragon, he was so fast that he had no time to dodge and had no choice but to use Kamui again. Hollow. Zilong passed through Qixing's body, but even though it didn't touch Qixing's body, Qixing still felt that the energy in his body had decreased by 10%. I can't help but wonder, there's something weird about the purple dragon in the system. Ding! The purple dragon is released from the dead wood of the mature divine tree. The mature refreshing tree is 10 tails. It has an immortal body and is extremely sensitive to the wood attribute. You just dodged hastily and did not really avoid the purple dragon's touch. It takes away 10% of your energy in just an instant. Close black lens bracket. Although I knew how pervert this purple dragon was, I didn't expect that experiencing it in person would make it even more pervert. At this moment, Qixing waved his hands forward, the wind rose, and a super strong tornado directly hit the purple dragon. But the purple dragon was also flexible and managed to avoid the invasion of the ubiquitous wind. But Qixing's attack is not that simple. After a strong wind blew by, 2,000-meter-long fire dragons miraculously took shape in the strong wind. Just listen to Qixing shouting loudly, "Fire explosion technique, explosive flame wind fire crazy dragon." The two wind and fire dragons swallowed the purple dragon directly into their belly, and then shot their kilometer-long bodies straight towards Pain. Pain did not panic. He only saw the fingerprints on his left hand flying, and he shouted loudly and exploded. As soon as the word exploded, the two-day wind and fire dragon disintegrated directly in the air. The wind and fire separated instantly, and the fire dragon also disappeared without a trace. Advertisement: hey, what kind of ability is this? It seems that I have never seen this guy use it. Could it be that this purple dragon's self-destruction can also destroy ninjutsu attacks? At the moment when Qixing was confused, Six Paths Pain took action again, only to see this guy retreat Ghetto statue, holding a black ball in his hands, and this ball was all too familiar to the 7 stars. This is exactly the prototype of the superplanetary devastation. Seeing this, Qixing couldn't help but sigh. This guy is really ruthless. If he uses such a powerful ability, I'm afraid not even 10 Konoha can be saved this time. As soon as Qixing finished speaking, the ball was sent to Qixing's head. The terrifying suction force made Qixing feel like something was carrying him and rushing towards the black hole. At the moment when he was about to be buried by planetary devastation, Qixing used another ability of double Kamui, to teleport. Qixing's figure instantly disappeared near the black hole, but the black hole's terrifying suction force even sucked space into it. Qixing had no choice but to appear thousands of meters away from the black hole. Look at this terrifying suction. It was you who forced me to use my full strength, Pain. Let me show you the real gap between you and me. After saying that, golden light suddenly appeared around Qixing, and a 500-meter-long phantom of the Buddha appeared behind Qixing. But it wasn't over yet. When the Buddha appeared, Susanoo turned into countless pieces of armor and wrapped the Buddha. Susanoo Buddha's ability, which was about to be eliminated by Nanami, was once again used by Nanami. At this time, the Buddha drew out the 300-meter sword from his waist, and without hesitation, he slashed at the planetary devastation, which was already close to 500 meters in size. Everyone only heard a dull rumble. The collision between the big knife and the big ball caused a huge mushroom cloud to rise directly into the sky 8,000 meters high. The cloud layer was inlaid with a white border, and bright light shone over the entire fire country. Not only people near the fire country can see this terrifying light, but even half of the ninja world can see it. It is even more brilliant than Shouty's self-destruction. The white mushroom clouds in the sky are still rising. The two figures of 7 stars and 6 paths Pain each used their own defenses, but were only seriously injured in such a terrifying explosion. At this moment, the Buddha Susan around Qixing has long since dispersed, and even the clothes on Qixing's body are in tatters. Looking at the ground beneath Qixing's feet, a 3-kilometer-long trench was plowed directly back from the center of the explosion. Pain, on the other hand, used another summoning technique from the Hell Realm. Yan Jun came to withstand this terrifying explosion for himself. At this time, Yan Jun was already dying. The body is extremely unreal. He kept cursing in his mouth, "You be asterisk 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 D. Why don't you usually see you offering incense to me? He is about to die and let me go to the hospital. Damn it, I will definitely seek justice next time I show up." As soon as he finished speaking, the shadow disappears. 6 Paths Pain was also disintegrated due to excessive chakra consumption. 6 Paths Pain instantly transformed into 6 figures and fell to the ground exhausted. At this time, the system prompt tone also came. Ding! Congratulations to host, you defeated 6 Paths Pain of the same level with your own basic combat power. 30,000 bonus points. Close black lens bracket. At this moment, 7 stars points have reached 180,000, which is only 20,000 short of being able to open the system's Wanji Mall. Perfect. Just kill a few more people and you'll be fine. After that, throw yourself a magic bean again. The injuries in your body are recovering with a visible force. And just when Qixing was looking at his points happily, at the center of the explosion, several streaks of white smoke flashed. 3 huge toads appeared in the center of the pit. Chapter 167. That's it. At this moment, an elegant figure stood above the toad. I was looking around, but there was nothing around me. Then Naruto asked Toad Fukasaku and his wife beside him. Master Fukasaku, didn't you say you were going back to Konoha? How did you end up in this Bear Mountain pit? Fukasaku heard this and said seriously, young celebrity, this is Konoha. Naruto was stunned when he heard the news. When Fukasaku finished speaking, the thick smoke from the explosion was slowly dissipating. Naruto also saw the dilapidated Hokage rock in the distance. At this time Naruto finally believed that this was Konoha, but it had been destroyed to such an extent. Seeing the place where he grew up being destroyed, Naruto said angrily, "Who is it? Who is it?" Qixing, who was 3,000 meters away from the center of the explosion, had recovered most of his body strength and jumped into the air in a flash. He was about to leave, but the moment he saw Naruto, he decided to hide in the dark and observe to see if the subsequent development would change due to his intervention. At this moment, Tsunade looked at Tiandao Pain, who was kneeling not far away, and was about to step forward to hit him, but the 5 Pain beside him formed seals at the same time, opening a defensive barrier for Tiandao Pain. Tendo Pain, who stood up slowly at this time, looked at Tsunade, who was shouting outside the barrier, and said disdainfully, "It seems that you have somewhat understood the meaning of pain. But I don't have time to find you now." Saying this, he waved his hand and asked Shira Dao to step forward and deal with Tsunade. Shira Dao received the order, and the moment he kicked his legs off the ground, he made an instant slash and came to Tsunade. But before he could do anything, Naruto fell from the sky. One punch shattered Shira Dao's brain. At this moment, Naruto's hairband was flying. He looked at Pain and said, "You are here to find me. I don't need the Hokage to take any action to deal with you. Mother-in-law, please step aside and leave this place to me." At this moment, Tiandao Pain finally saw his target, Uzumaki Naruto. And Naruto roared, "Come on, make a fool of yourself." But Tiandao Pain, because he had just fought with the 7 stars and activated the 6 paths fusion, his body's energy was almost exhausted, and the final explosion also caused Pain to be seriously injured, and he had no time to recover. At this time, the other 4 Pain saw that Naruto wanted to attack Tendo Pain, and immediately formed a T-shape to protect him behind them. Naruto called Gamakichi, "Let it send Tsunade away." Tsunade did not hesitate. After all, the clone he summoned of Katsuyu Sage consumed almost 90% of the chakra, and then only one clone of Katsuyu was left to tell Naruto all the information about Pain. He jumped on the toad's back and turned around to leave. Naruto took the little Katsuyu and was shocked after learning what had just happened. He really wanted to know what kind of existence could destroy Konoha. But the person in front of me is also one of the culprits. When Naruto learned that this guy didn't have much fighting power anymore, Naruto's first thought was to kill you while you're sick. Thinking of this, Naruto quickly ran towards Pain. Upon seeing this, the animal beast immediately summoned the rhinoceros and attacked Naruto with the 3-headed dog. Naruto instantly turned on Sage Mode and the corners of his eyes turned orange-red. His aura has even reached the late Cage level. He grabbed the rhinoceros horn with his left hand and threw it into the sky with all his strength. He formed a seal with his right hand, separated into 2 clones, and simultaneously created Sage Art. Big Ball Rasengan, and the Rasengan collided with the 3-headed dog. Just blow it away. The 3 toads behind him also rushed out at the same time, killing the remaining summoning beasts. In an instant, several clans were fighting with various summoning beasts, and in an instant, several summoning beasts lost their fighting power. In Naruto's first battle, he was challenged by Hungry Kido. The 2 figures collided rapidly, and Kido seemed to have eyes on his back, easily dodging Naruto's various tricky attacks. At this point Naruto knew that these were Pain's shared visions. Then Naruto punched again. This punch was ordinary, but Kido clearly dodged the attack of this punch, but then there was a dull explosion. Advertisement Kido's cheek was unexpectedly hit by an invisible punch, and the shadow of the punch directly dented half of his face. Hungry Kido loses combat effectiveness. At this time, Tendo Pain also saw Naruto's Sage Mode and said, "Have you learned the same senjutsu as your teacher? You and I come from the same school and should understand each other. Master has always been looking forward to peace." Naruto heard Tendo Pain calling Mr. Jiraiya and said angrily, "You have the nerve to call Mr. Jiraiya. You be ******D. Look around you, the ruins of Konoha, and the countless dead and injured corpses." Roaring, "Is this the peace you expect? Huh, stupid. You can't see the forest but the tree. It's just that you don't understand the meaning of peace. Just surrender and capture him. Your death will bring peace to this ninja world." "Are you kidding? Peace? I would rather create with my hands." As he spoke, Naruto separated into 2 clones again, and the 3 figures quickly rubbed an oversized Rasengan. Sage Art. Spiral Shuriken activated. Lift this ball. Naruto threw it directly at Tendo Pain. Several Pain immediately dodged, but because Human Road was unable to dodge, he was hit by the rapidly expanding Spiral Shuriken, and then the huge Spiral Shuriken exploded violently. There was a loud bang, and the world was torn apart. Upon seeing this, Zushidao immediately summoned a huge strange bird with a sharp beak and crashed into Naruto. Naruto dodged the strange bird and got into close combat with the beast. But because of the Senjutsu Rasen Shuriken used just now, the natural energy consumption was too large, the body became sluggish, and the color of the corners of the eyes became much darker, so he could only summon a Senjutsu clone again. I saw his hands forming seals, and after a burst of white smoke, the Senjutsu clone appeared and immediately merged into Naruto's body. At this moment, the orange-red corners of Naruto's eyes, which were about to disappear, deepened again. The strength also became a bit stronger. Then, he summoned Kamakichi to use the smoke bomb. Taking advantage of the moment when the smoke appeared, Kamakichi swallowed the beast that was fighting Naruto into the toad's abdominal wall. Naruto used the Rasengan to kill the beast in the toad's stomach wall. The Hell Realm is outside, but it summons the King of Hell again to resurrect the dead hungry Kido. As soon as Naruto emerged from the toad's mouth, he found the dead Kido standing up again. He knew that this guy could resurrect the dead Pain, but it was too late to think about it. Sage Art, Wind-style Spiral Shuriken is activated again. Kido was very disdainful and blocked the shuriken directly in front of him. But this shuriken was transformed by Naruto. After recovering his body, Naruto knocked down Kido, and the real shuriken behind him flew towards Tendo Pain. When Tiandao Pain saw this, his pupils expanded and contracted. At this time, Pain's body's energy had only recovered by 50%. If you use the ability now, continued recovery will be interrupted, but at this moment you have to use Shinra Tensei again. After hearing a violent burst of energy, the Rasen Shuriken was instantly deflected. Even Naruto was thrown hundreds of meters away by this powerful repulsive force. The huge explosion attracted Hinata and several others who were rushing back to Konoha. At this time, Hinata heard the explosion from Konoha's side and immediately opened her eyes, and a familiar figure finally appeared. He knew that Naruto, whom he had longed for, was back. But Naruto-kun was fighting alone. At this moment, Hinata ran towards Naruto regardless of her own safety. At this time, Pain looked at Naruto, who fell to the ground and praised. "You are the second one who can defeat 4 Pains at once. But you are far behind him, that's the end of it." Chapter 168 Furious Naruto. Before he finished speaking, Tendo Pain stretched out his right hand forward, shouted loudly, and cast Universal Pull. At this moment, Naruto's body flew towards Tendo Pain uncontrollably. At this time, Naruto was like a weak chicken, being held in the hands of Tiandao Pain and slammed to the ground. After just a few rounds, Naruto, who was out of Sage Mode, was stabbed to the ground by Tendo Pain with a black stick, without any ability to fight back. At this moment, Tendo Pain looked at Naruto in front of him. "You are really useless. How can you bring peace to the world?" After saying that, he was about to step forward, take Naruto away, and extract the Nine Tails chakra. Suddenly, a slender figure, with his fists filled with light, cast gentle fist in the air, from far to near, directly hitting Tiandao Pain's head. When Tiandao Pain saw the person coming, his pupils shrank. "Woman, do you think I won't kill women? Any mortal who blocks God will die." With that said, Shinra Tenjung was activated and Hinata was instantly ejected. Hinata quickly got up. This injury was not a problem at all. He continued to step forward, but Pain waved again, and Hinata was knocked away again. In this way, Hinata has been seriously injured. At this time Tendo Pain saw that this guy was here to rescue Naruto, but that's it. When Hinata dragged her exhausted body and was about to rush forward to rescue Naruto again, Tendo Pain flashed and stood in front of Naruto. He was not prepared to give Hinata another chance to get close to Naruto. "You've wasted your time." But Hinata didn't give up. He immediately launched an attack. Chakra began to gather on his hands, gentle fist, double lion fist. At this moment, 2 lion-headed shadows appeared on Hinata's fist. With great momentum, he rushed towards Tiandao Pain. Although Hinata's moves looked very powerful, but in front of Tiandao Pain's Rinnegan, it was simply child's play. I saw Tendo Pain waving his hands continuously, and Hinata's attacks were all counterattacked on him. Then, Tendo Pain cast Universal Pull, and Hinata was thrown into the air by Pain. The moment she waved her hand, Hinata also hit the ground. With a thud, Hinata never stood up again. Then Pain whipped out a black rod and inserted it into Hinata's body. Seeing this scene, Naruto's eyes instantly glazed over, full of disbelief. Pain said, "It's over. My parents were killed in front of me in this way." At this moment, Tiandao Pain had no idea what he had done. When Naruto reacted, Hinata was already fighting to save him, life or death. At this moment, Naruto's eyes were red and bloodshot rapidly. Then an energy comparable to the peak of Super Shadow exploded with Naruto as the center. A loud bang spread, and Naruto actually tore off half of Nine Tails' seal in his body. Nine Tails sensed that the seal was halfway lifted and ran away instantly. Naruto's small body also quickly began to transform into a tailed beast. In just 2 breaths, Naruto's body turned red directly, and the 4 giant tails behind him turned into palms and swayed in the air. Naruto, who suddenly transformed into a tailed beast, stared directly at Tendo Pain. He instantly grabbed the earth and rocks on the ground and threw them towards Pain. Pain saw Naruto going berserk and said disdainfully, "Do you also understand my pain?" But Naruto didn't care about him at all. He continued to throw the earth and rocks forward, and the earth and rocks were like bullets, shooting at Tiandao Pain. But Pain was also extremely powerful, and he instantly held up a gravity shield, blocking all the earth and rocks. After going berserk, Naruto couldn't hurt Pain at this level. Then he looked up to the sky and roared. A huge ball of energy flew rapidly from the sky, falling on the rampaging Naruto. 4 tails Naruto instantly transformed into 6 tails, and his body was covered with a layer of skeletal armor. Advertisement. Seeing Naruto's anger, Pain said disdainfully, "My pain is greater than yours." After saying that, he punched the ground directly. At this moment, the earth was shaking, and as the energy escaped, countless cracks began to open under the feet, and huge amounts of underground water gushed out of the ground. Turned the entire Konoha ruins into a huge lake. Pain is taking advantage of this moment to create favorable terrain for himself. The 6 giant tails turned into 6 big hands, constantly trying to catch Tiandao Pain. The tailed beast turned Naruto has no self-awareness at all. With the blessing of Nine Tails energy, chakra can't be used up at all. In this small-scale battle, the consumption of chakra is almost nothing. But Tiandao Pain's body is extremely flexible. While running rapidly, he can also continuously create huge falling rocks. Naruto, who transformed into a tailed beast, was hit by a boulder, submerged underwater. Looking at 6 tails disappearing, is that all? But as soon as he finished speaking, countless red chakra bombs directly destroyed the boulder, and the remaining bombs headed towards Pain. With the help of Rinnegan, Pain easily deflected these attacks. Then Pain flicked his hands away, and countless black rods flew towards the tailed beast turned Naruto. The violent Naruto's energy exploded again, and a huge shockwave blocked the invasion of all gangs. Naruto, now furious, charged towards Pain angrily. But at this moment, a sudden change occurred. The green pendant on Naruto's chest, which was the first Hokage's necklace, turned into a green rope, tightly binding Naruto. But at this time, in the 6 tails mode, he was not afraid of a small sealing technique. He just pulled off the necklace and crushed it into pieces. Without the suppression of this necklace, the 9 tails in the body becomes even crazier. Naruto's strength also increased again, and 7 tails Naruto finally appeared. At this time, Tendo Pain could no longer keep up with Naruto's speed. After Naruto attacked, he barely resisted for a few times before being blasted into the water. But Tendo Pain directly deployed Shinra Tenjung's shield in the water. But suddenly, 7 tails Naruto's big bloody hand broke through the Shinra Tenjung shield and grabbed Tiandao Pain's head. This time Tiandao Pain was shocked. Impossible, this guy can actually withstand the attack of Shinra Tenjung. And 7 tails Naruto's energy raged again, directly throwing Tendo Pain thousands of meters away. Eventually the head was stuck in the wall. Just when 7 tails Naruto was about to cast Tailed Beast Bomb, Tendo Pain emerged from the earth. Hands together. Universal Pull pulled a 1,000-meter mountain peak and hit 7 tails Naruto upside down. The Tailed Beast Bomb's energy also went berserk at this moment, exploding in front of Naruto. There was a bang. The newly formed Lake Konoha was evaporated in an instant. And the Tailed Beast Naruto, who lost his mind, walked out of the explosion again. But Tendo Pain already knew that he was no match for this rampaging Naruto. The figure flew quickly towards a forest. After getting rid of Naruto temporarily, Tendo Pain hid in a tree hole. The cave is where Nagato is hiding. I saw Nagato lying on the bed, his hands clasped together, and a small black hole appeared in Pain's hand. Then slowly throw it into the sky, side by side with the sun. This is exactly the terrifying ability that the combined 6 paths Pain used when fighting the 7 stars. Ultra, Planetary Devastation. Chapter 169. It's Tenshinhan again. This terrifying ability was used again, and Tsunade and the 12 heroes standing in the distance were all shocked. The suction of this black hole could be easily felt even by them standing several kilometers away. At this time, no one in the audience dared to make a sound. I just prayed in my heart, hoping that Naruto could resolve this crisis in Konoha, otherwise Konoha would not be able to rebuild. After the super planetary devastation was used, the small black ball had already flown into the sky and turned into a large stone ball over a kilometer long. The earth was still shaking, and countless rocks were rising into the sky. The surrounding forests were even uprooted. 7 tails Naruto sensed danger and wanted to stop it. But Pain waved his hand, and Naruto was immediately wrapped by the boulder and flew into the sky. Naruto originally wanted to break the boulder blockade in front of him, but the power of the technique performed by Nagato himself was beyond repair. Naruto finally lost to this terrifying gravity and was trapped in the planetary devastation. At this time, the 9 tails demon fox began to seduce Naruto to completely break the seal and release the power of 9 tails. Naruto watched blankly as the seal in his body was slowly being opened, without stopping. At this moment, Naruto in the planetary devastation was getting stronger and stronger, and the 500-meter planetary devastation was also trembling. At this time, the planetary devastation could no longer withstand the violent energy of 9 tails. 8 giant tails even appeared outside the planetary devastation. Just when Naruto wanted to tear apart all the seals of 9 tails himself, the figure of the 4th generation actually appeared in Naruto's sea of consciousness. Naruto was shocked when he saw this strange figure and couldn't help shouting, "Eternal Daime, 4th generation Japanese pronunciation." It turns out that when Naruto's seal is about to be unveiled and 8 tails appear on his body, Nagateme's spiritual consciousness will appear in Naruto's sea of consciousness. At this moment, Young Daime turned to look at 9 tails and said, "I don't want to see you at all now, 9 tails, but I want to see my son when he grows up. It's a mixed blessing." 9 tails is also extremely angry. He is still one step away from leaving this endless seal. Hole, 4th generation, I'm going to kill you. Young Daime smiled disdainfully when she heard that. "If you have the ability, come out." Right, Naruto. Naruto was stunned when he heard that 4th Hokage knew his name. "How did you know my name?" Young Daime smiled and said, "I am your father." Hearing this, Naruto started to stutter. "Me, as I said just now, you are my son." At this time, Naruto's brain had crashed. and Yondaime turned on the memory killing mode. At the same time, in the sky, the suction force formed by planetary devastation became stronger and stronger, but the 7 stars standing in the sky just waved their hands to dispel this terrifying suction force, and then they flashed and came to the tree hole where Nagato was. As soon as he appeared, Conan discovered the traces of Nanahe. He was stunned and launched an attack on Nanahe. However, no matter how Conan attacked, he who did not understand the space and time ninjutsu could not even touch Nanami's fur in front of Kamui. Arrive. At this moment, Qixing smiled and looked at the person leaning on the hospital bed in front of him. Nagato. Nagato, I thought you wouldn't use this ability this time. Unexpectedly, the storm caused by my butterfly has not changed. You. As he was talking, Conan was still looking for an opportunity to kill Qixing, but it was obvious that he overestimated his own strength. And Nagato spoke at this time. Advertisement, Uchiha Qixing, Itachi's older brother. You have the strength of the early 6 pads level at the age of only 21. I really don't know how you practiced. Even a genius like Sage of 6 pads did not reach the 6 pads level until he was 30 years old. Officially breaking through the 6 pads level. I also have the eyes of an immortal, and I can use these eyes to temporarily reach this state. Hearing this, Qixing clapped his hands and said, "Ah, he is indeed one of the leaders of the Akatsuki organization. He even knows my information so clearly. But please don't compare me with that old guy Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Really, he is the closest thing to an immortal? Oh, immortal? If I said that I almost killed an immortal, would you believe it? You crazy person. Arrogant, you are so crazy, no wonder you didn't save your brother when he died. Haha, how do you know that I didn't save him, and how do you know that Itachi is really dead? Never completely believe what you hear." Hearing this, Nagato had already guessed that Itachi was not dead. In order to cover up the fear in his heart, he laughed wildly. Ha ha ha, he is indeed Itachi's big brother, he is really awesome. But what are you doing here? Well, it's nothing, I just came to see you for the last time. Oh, you're going to kill me? No, don't get me wrong. I won't kill a loser. Not only will I not kill you, I will save you. After saying this, a fairy bean flew into Nagato's mouth. Nagato only felt a huge amount of energy coming towards him. Without thinking, he opened his mouth and swallowed the little bean directly into his belly. Nagato knew that although this guy was a lunatic, strong people had strong ethics. If he wanted to kill him, he would have done it long ago. There was no need to use poison. But Conan just said wait, but he was too late to stop him. The next moment, the energy in Nagato's body increased explosively, and his muscles bulged instantly. Nagato, who was originally impotent and weak, instantly became energetic. Conan looked at Nagato like this, then turned to look at Qixing in disbelief, and said, "If there are enough beans like this, Nagato can live for at least another year." Qixing curled his lips after hearing this and just chuckled. Haha, you think fairy beans are a cabbage like Bing Liang Wan? You can have as much as you want. As expected, it still doesn't work. Then why are you giving hope to Nagato? Giving hope to me? Hey, I just want to make a bet with you, Conan. Gambling? Originally, you were the target of Elder Yuan's mission, but his wife is now making a breakthrough. It seems that he will not be able to complete this mission, and he did not leave any backup to introduce you to Tianshuman. Conan was furious when he heard about Tianshuman. You are from Tianshuman. B**********D. That B*********D named Chi took my things, and I was looking for you. Nagato was confused when he heard this. It's Tianshuman again, what's going on with Conan? Then Conan's cheeks turned red and he explained, some time ago, a very strange guy came to me and said that if I was cornered, I should shout Qixing or Chi to the sky. Guys who like to watch the fun will come to save me. But I have had nothing to do recently, and I really wanted to see if someone was really watching me in the sky, so I called Chi, and sure enough, someone really responded to me, but the guy ran down and saw that I was fine. Dear, I ran away after that. That be ********D. If I see him again I will kill him. You are Qixing, Uchiha Qixing. You must have something to do with that guy. I should have thought of it a long time ago. At this moment, Conan looked at Qixing with an unkind expression, as if to say, you are not that guy. Hearing this, Qixing looked deceived and wronged. Such a G huge injustice. Who knew that a young boy like Chi would like to play with such tricks? I never taught her this. Chapter 170 Naruto's mouth escapes in consecration. Nagato performs the heretic Rinne Tensai technique. Then Qixing denied. I am me. Chi is Chi, don't confuse me with that guy. Although he is my incarnation, Qixing will not say this. In order to ease the awkward atmosphere, Qixing smiled and said nothing, and the tree hole suddenly fell into silence. Qixing thought at this time. It seems that the Hydra guy has guessed that I will come. Fortunately, I just said that Hydra has no plan, so it is waiting for me here. As expected, the snake has become a master. It seems that Conan has been captured. Thinking of this, he immediately looked at Conan. Little girl, how about we make a bet? Conan raised his eyebrows slightly. What kind of bet? A little guy named Naruto will definitely come to Nagato in a while. I bet Nagato will not kill him, but will give up his own life to resurrect everyone in Konoha. Hearing this, Conan frowned and said, Joke, do you think you have a chance of winning? Do you think you know Nagato better than me? You have already lost. This kind of thing will never happen. Not to mention that Conan wouldn't believe it when hearing such nonsense. Even Nagato himself felt that only a fool would do this. Then Conan spoke again. What do you want to bet on? Well, how about I bet you to join Tiensho clan and never betray me? What if you lose? If I lose, then I will help Nagato and help Akatsuki realize his dream. Anyway, my strength is boring in this world. There are not many people who practice, and it will take a long time for me to break through. Conan was speechless after hearing these arrogant words. He just said, it's okay to gamble, but if you lose, how about at least taking out 3 of the elixirs just now as bets? Hearing Conan's immediate agreement, Qixing smiled mysteriously. Death will come as scheduled. I hope you won't regret your choice, Nagato. See you later, you two. Although Nanahoshi's words were incomprehensible, Nagato seemed to understand the meaning. But as soon as he finished speaking, Qixing's figure had disappeared. Conan looked at the disappearing figure and looked at Nagato. Is what that guy Nagato said credible? That kind of strong person should not bother to deceive you and me. You can choose your own future path. At this time, the two of them communicated in the tree hole for a long time. Outside the tree hole, in the big ball formed by planetary devastation, in Naruto's Sea of Consciousness, a battle without gunpowder was going on. At this moment, Ninetales was so miserable that he couldn't speak. He was about to break free just now. Two forces that didn't know where they came from instantly pulled Ninetales back. I am afraid that only the remnant soul of the 4th generation knows the source of this familiar power. It turns out that when Naruto was still a genin, both Ninetales and One Tail were released when fighting Sand Shinobi Gaara. At that time, a super strong man casually sealed Ninetales and One Tail in their bodies again. A stronger decryption technique was also set up. So when Ninetales was about to break away from the seal in Naruto's body, a strong pulling force pulled it back. At this moment, 4th generation finally felt relieved that his son had become very strong. This remnant soul can leave with peace of mind. At the same time, Naruto's knowledge overseas. Tiandao Pain was preparing to seal the 8 tails that were about to escape from the planetary devastation, but the next moment, all the bloody tails disappeared. Naruto was standing on the surface of planetary devastation. This scene happened so suddenly that Tendo Pain didn't expect that Naruto could control Ninetales' rampage. The planetary devastation also began to crack after Ninetales disappeared. At the same time, Nagato's body was severely overdrawn due to 2 consecutive uses of planetary devastation. Although he had just made up for the loss of chakra through the senbei, his body was already decayed and could not be repaired immediately with simple energy. Advertisement: even if Nagato eats a fairy bean, his physical lifespan will not exceed 10 days. At this moment, the planetary devastation technique suddenly collapsed and backfired, and a mouthful of blood immediately spat out of Nagato's mouth. This can be regarded as a weak point. At this time, Naruto also returned to Sage mode after breaking free from the planetary devastation, but there was not much natural energy left in his body. Tendo Pain in front of him looked at Naruto, who landed on the ground, and without saying a word, he just started to do it. I saw Pain pulling out the black stick and stabbing Naruto quickly. At this moment, Naruto used his skills in an instant, staged the drama of grabbing the black stick with his bare hands, and kicked the weak Pain away. In order to get Nagato's location, Naruto directly inserted the black rod into his shoulder, activated the Senju Chakra anti-tracking mode, and instantly determined Nagato's location. Back Mountain. But how could Tendo Pain allow Naruto to find his true form? Immediately, Tendo Pain kicked the ground with his feet, and there was a constant crackling sound. The ground began to shake, and the earth and rocks kept gathering towards Naruto. But Naruto didn't pay any attention to Pain's ability and just threw a burst of purple smoke. He cast Rasen Shuriken with both hands, and took advantage of the smoke to throw the first one towards Pain. But Pain's Shinra Tensai is no show-off. He opened his hands and instantly flicked the Rasen Shuriken away. But the second one followed closely, and Pain jumped up decisively to avoid it. But he didn't expect that this Spiral Shuriken turned out to be a clone, and the real Spiral Shuriken flew from the air towards Pain's face. The next second, Pain was hit and hit the wall again, not knowing whether he was alive or dead. At this time, Naruto, who was panting, looked at Pain, who fell to the ground and fell into memories. When Naruto came to his senses, he looked firmly at the top of the mountain behind him. Without any hesitation, he leapt forward and disappeared from the spot. In just a few breaths, Naruto ran at full speed and reached the top of the mountain. Getting closer and closer to the destination, Naruto became more and more determined. Looking at the tree hole blocked by the barrier in front of him, Naruto used Sage mode again, tore open the barrier in front of him with both hands, and finally saw Nagato's true form for the first time. At this time, Nagato was no longer as weak as before. Perhaps it was a flashback, or perhaps Ninetales was in front of him, and the plan was implemented. There was a slight red light on the face. Looking at Naruto in front of him, he said disappointedly, "You can't do anything now. Your mission is to sacrifice for the peace I created. Death is your best destination." After saying that, he immediately took action and stabbed Naruto with a thick black rod. Naruto didn't dodge and was directly pierced through the abdomen by the black rod. But this also stabbed Ninetales' seal. At this moment, Ninetales roared, and the terrifying shockwave directly attacked Nagato. Nagato's pupils shrank, and Rinnegan resisted the violent chakra. Only then did Naruto reveal his purpose, and the invincible mouth escape mode is turned on. The two began a verbal exchange that lasted for several hours. Nagato listened to what Naruto said and fell into memories, recalling the time with Jiraiya, when Jiraiya teacher also said that he was the child of destiny. He also entrusted the hope of peace to himself, but now everything has changed. Sure enough, Jiraiya's sensei is right. Naruto might be different from him. Then let me try to believe you, Mr. Jiraiya. After saying this, he looked at Konan next to him and said, I lost to Konan, he is really good, he guessed everything. Go to Tianshumen, that may be your best destination. After saying that, he took his hand out of the chakra transmission device, formed a seal with his hands, and gave a soft drink. Rinne Tensai Technique. Chapter 171 5 Shadows Talk, Danzo's Little Move. Konan was horrified when he heard that Nagato was about to perform this technique and stepped forward to stop him. But Nagato already had his choice. The choice that I had given up on. Naruto didn't know what Nagato was doing, but Konan explained. Actually, Nagato is the seventh pain who can control life and death. Nagato has given up hope of living. He entrusted his last hope to another disciple of Master Jiraiya, Uzumaki Naruto. I hope you can carry Nagato's dream and become a true Hokage. Bring peace to the ninja world. The words just fell. Nagato had completed the seal, and a 100-meter-tall Yama appeared in the center of the bare Konoha village. This is Pain's true form, the Yama summoned by Nagato's ultimate summoning technique, and this Yama is the one who can truly control life and death. At this moment, the King of Hell opened his 100-meter-long mouth. Countless green rays of light came out of the big mouth. Green light fell on those who had died in Konoha village. In an instant, the cold corpses were miraculously resurrected. The resurrected person looked at the relatives and friends around him in confusion. Cried into tears. At this time, the whole Konoha village burst into tears and laughter. Those civilians watched their loved ones leave them and stand in front of them again. No one could understand this joy of regaining something. And Nagato, after being influenced by Naruto's mouth escape, used the heretic Rinne Tensai technique to save everyone who died in this war, but the price he paid was immediate death. After Nagato died, Konan wrapped Nagato and Yahiko in white paper. She will definitely not go back to the Akatsuki organization at this moment. After all, Nagato and Yahiko are everything to Konan. Just like Nagato said just now, we lost. After I take Nagato and Yahiko to Rain Shinobi village for burial, I will go to Tiansho Gate. Qixing also appeared at this moment and looked at Konan. You will not regret your choice in the future. Naruto looked at the person who suddenly appeared. This was also the first time he saw the true face of Qixing. When he learned that this person was a member of Tianshumen, Naruto instantly became vigilant. What exactly do you want to do here? Qixing ignored him at all and just threw a shoe character token to Konan and said, after finishing your own business, the token will guide you to Tiansho Gate. Upon seeing this, Naruto wanted to call the Nine-Tails Demon Fox to stop this guy from leaving, but Qixing just looked back at Naruto, and the nine tails in his body was already trembling. Damn, this is the pervert again. Naruto, don't provoke him, and leave quickly. When Naruto reacted, Qixing's figure disappeared on the spot. Naruto was shocked. Disappeared without a trace. How did this guy do it? The guys from Tianshumen are so terrifying. I really hope they are not the next Akatsuki organization. In fact, Naruto had already heard about the existence of Tianshumen, a mysterious organization, but he had very little information about this organization. After all, this organization has not done anything harmful to nature. He has just emerged in the ninja world. At this moment, Nanahoshi left, and Konan also took the bodies of Nagato and Yahiko away. The little Katsuyu on Naruto's shoulder told the whole of Konoha about Naruto's defeat of Pain's true form, and finally got Pain's recognition, voluntarily giving up his life and using the technique to save everyone. At this moment, everyone in Konoha village knew that Naruto had saved them, and Naruto became a hero in people's hearts. When Naruto walked out of the forest, the people of Konoha had been waiting for a long time. The crowd cheered heartily and praised their hero. At this time, Naruto finally realized the awesomeness he boasted about when he was a child, making the entire Konoha village recognize him. Pain's invasion of Konoha has become a thing of the past. Konoha is about to be rebuilt, and it also welcomes its new hero, Uzumaki Naruto. At this moment, a new chapter begins. But the dark side of Konoha, Shimura Danzo, couldn't sit still. Advertisement at this time, Tsunade fell into a coma due to excessive use of chakra. Although Danzo did not contribute half, he used illusions to control the daimyo of the Land of Fire. Under the meeting chaired by the daimyo, he finally became the 6th Hokage as he wished. At the same time, the shadows in each village received news from Hokage that the Akatsuki organization had become a cancer in the ninja world and had captured one tail to 7 tails one after another, and his younger brother Killer Bee was also captured by the Akatsuki organization because regarding the Akatsuki organization, Hokage held a meeting of the 5 shadows. The destination of the 5 shadows conference is the Kingdom of Iron, a country composed of warriors. This is the fairest and safest for the major ninja villages. At this time, the village shadows received the news and had already started to set off. Land of Wind, Sand Shinobi Village, Keisuke Gara, brought his sisters Tamari and Konkuro. Water Country, Mist Ninja Village, Mizukage Terumi Mei, brought his 2 guards, Chojuro and Ao. The Country of Thunder, Cloud Shinobi Village, Hokage I, brought Darui and Nozomi. Earth Country, Rock Shinobi Village, Tsuchikage has 2 shadows coming for the first time this time. Tsuchikage Onoki and the leg shadow Kuretsuchi. The other person is Kuretsuchi's daughter, Akatsuki. Fire Country, Konoha Shinobi Village. The new Hokage Danzo, who has just obtained the Hokage position, has not yet warmed up his butt, and must set off to attend the 5-Cage conference. But this time Danzo was very motivated and wanted to take this opportunity to unify the ninja world, so he brought along 2 people who also had cage-level combat capabilities, Aburame and Yamanaka. After a day of walking, the 5 shadows finally arrived at the Land of Iron, and with them came members of the Akatsuki organization, Uchiha Sasuke's Eagle Squad. The 5 shadows talks have also officially begun. Mifune, the leader of the Iron Kingdom, sat at the top as a witness to this meeting, and because of mutual suspicion, all the actors allowed this old guy to rely on his old age. But not long after the meeting began, Mifune proposed to establish a ninja coalition to jointly resist the Akatsuki organization, and everyone began to argue endlessly about who would be the leader of the coalition. At this time, Mifune heard everyone arguing and said, "Currently, only 9 Tails of Konoha is still among the Jinchuriki of the 5 great nations. For better protection and control, I suggest giving command to 6th Hokage Danzo." Upon hearing this, Raikage immediately became angry and said, "You mean to let this person, known as the Dark Ninja, lead you? How is that possible? The members of the Akatsuki organization are all made up of rebellious ninjas from your villages. The most threatening people are also from Konoha village. And we in Cloud Shinobi village don't have a single rebellious ninja. We, the Kingdom of Thunder, should be the ones to lead this time, coalition forces." Upon hearing this, Mifune immediately interrupted, "No, your temper is too hot." After saying that, he pointed at the table that was smashed by Raikage. "Of course, I recommended 6th Hokage this time after careful consideration. After all, Gaara Kazekage is still too young, and Tsuchikage is too old, and has a history of favoring and exploiting Akatsuki. And the Kingdom of Water is the birthplace of the Akatsuki organization. There are probably still a lot of spies. After comprehensive consideration, I still think Danzo is the safest to serve as the leader of the coalition this time." Although what Mifune said was awe-inspiring, no one nodded in agreement. It was at this time that Ao from Mist Ninja Village opened his Byakugan and noticed something was wrong. "I saw that Danzo's right eye and right shoulder were all weird. Because those colors are very familiar to Qing, a person with white eyes." Suddenly a flash of inspiration occurred, and Qing thought of something. "Those are the eyes of Uchiha Qixing, the one who was once my most powerful enemy. He has fought with me many times and he will never admit his mistakes. I will never forget the color of my eyes when they are running chakra." Chapter 172. The Fourth War is about to begin. At this moment, Qixing stood up immediately and said, "Master Hokage, can you let me see your right eye under the bandage?" When everyone heard this, they all looked at Qing behind Terumi Mei. "What's the meaning? Danzo-sama, your right eye must have been transplanted from Uchiha Qixing's eye. I know those eyes very well. That guy's eyes can quietly implant illusions into the opponent's mind. The other party won't even realize that they have been manipulated." When everyone heard Qing's narration, they seemed to understand something, and all turned their attention to Danzo. "You actually took away Uchiha Qixing's eyes, no wonder you were confident. No matter how stupid you are, you can understand at this moment that everyone present finally knows Danzo's old hidden trick. It seems like Mifune, this loser, has long been under Danzo's illusion, otherwise it would be impossible to be so biased towards Konoha." At this time, Raikage's temper was rising again, and he yelled, "B********** D Danzo," and was about to fight with Danzo. But at the critical moment, White Zetsu, an alternative, appeared at the center of the 5 Shadows conference. Everyone looked at White Zetsu in the field with their swords drawn. White Zetsu didn't waste any time and went straight to the point, telling me that Uchiha Sasuke was here. Upon hearing this, Raikage immediately stepped forward and grabbed White Zetsu's neck, telling me where that Sasuke was. "I'm just counting to 3, tell me quickly, 3, 2, 1. No one had time to react, they only heard a crisp click, and the White Zetsu clone's neck was broken by Raikage. And Nozomi next to Raikage also instantly activated her perception after receiving the news. In just 2 breaths, she found the location of Team Eagle. "Lord Raikage. Over there." As he spoke, Raikage smashed the wall with one punch and rushed towards the 3 pillars. On the 3 pillars side, after Shanling sensed the disappearance of White Zetsu, she also knew that the guy was not going to do anything good. I was afraid that some of him might have been exposed at this time. Sure enough, while the 3 pillars and the 4 were still discussing tactics, the warriors from the Kingdom of Iron quickly found a few people and started to surround them. There was no nonsense in the meeting between the 2 parties. The warriors of the Kingdom of Iron directly drew the swords from their waists. Dozens of them simultaneously released countless chakra sword energy and slashed at the 3 pillars. However, the samurai of the Iron Country are only existences at the secondary level after all, and it is impossible to hurt a strong man like Sasuke who already has cage-level combat power. The battle between the 2 sides was one-sided. Sasuke raised Raikiri and slashed it down. A large area of Iron Country warriors fell instantly. But the battle here was also noticed by Raikage. At this time, Raikage could rush hundreds of meters away every time his legs lifted off the ground. Just when the 3 pillars had finished dealing with the warriors, there was a loud noise from the ceiling above them, and Raikage and the 3 finally arrive. The first time he saw the 3 pillars, Raikage roared angrily, "Boy, I want you to feel the fear of anger." After speaking, Raikage erupted directly, surrounded by thunder attribute chakra, and the terrifying momentum pressed towards Sasuke. Without any nonsense, Sasuke jumped towards Raikage with a thunder knife in his hand. But Darui next to Raikage directly used water barrier to block Sasuke, and then lightning style. Emotion wave wandered over the water barrier and hit Sasuke instantly. Sasuke had no choice but to back away, but Raikage's physical skills are extremely strong and his speed is incredibly fast. The moment Sasuke stepped back, Raikage and Nozomi slashed him from the side with their swords. Fortunately, Jugo and Suigetsu of Team Eagle blocked the blow for Sasuke. Advertisement, but both of them were also injured by the shock and flew hundreds of meters. Seeing this, Sasuke directly opened the half-body Susanoo and slapped Raikage with his big hand. Raikage directly blocked Susanoo's attack with his hand. Then Sasuke's thunder knife also stabbed Raikage, but Raikage resisted the knife and was unharmed. Hurt. That's right, Susan could be easily blocked with just her hands, and his body is even more powerful and can block the attack of the thunder knife. At this time, Sasuke is no match for Raikage. The lightning that envelopes Raikage's body is Raikage's unique skill, Thunderstorm Armor. This ability can compete with the complete Susanoo. Sasuke's lightning style combined with half Susan's attack couldn't penetrate Raikage's armor at all. Seeing this, Sasuke could only use Amaterasu, but Raikage easily dodged it with an instant. Then he came to Sasuke and kicked Sasuke's Susanoo with a powerful kick. Sasuke had no choice but to use flame control on Susanoo to resist Raikage's attack. Just when everyone thought Sasuke was about to be kicked out, a ball of yellow sand enveloped Sasuke. Raikage's kick hit the sand but did not cause much damage to Sasuke. At this time Gaara came here, looked at Sasuke, and wanted to use love to influence Sasuke and make him abandon darkness and turn to light, but his mouth escape was obviously not as strong as Naruto's, and Sasuke was not that easy to do this. At this moment, Sasuke, as a member of the Akatsuki organization, was unwilling to abandon the dark side and turn to the bright side. Everyone actually reached a consensus and all attacked Sasuke. Hope's Land escapes, Konkuro's hidden weapon, Temari's wind style, Wind of Yuzan, and Gaara's gravel rain, etc. Numerous ninjutsus all attacked Sasuke. These attacks landed on Sasuke's position and formed a huge explosion. But after the smoke cleared, everyone was shocked. Sasuke actually activated his full body Susanoo, block all attacks. Sasuke, who had succeeded in showing off, grinned, waved Susanoo's arm, and cut off the pillars in the hull. The hull collapsed, and Gaara could only use sand to protect everyone. Sasuke also took the opportunity to save the members of Team Eagle. Xiangling, have you found Danzo's location? Found the target in the conference hall. Sasuke didn't hesitate to fight, took Xiangling and rushed to the conference hall. As soon as he entered, Sasuke looked at Danzo coldly, but Mifune couldn't bear it. As Danzo's puppet, he rushed directly towards Sasuke, but Danzo, an old guy, had no martial ethics at all. When he saw Sasuke being dragged, he turned around and fled the meeting hall. Sasuke saw this and wanted to catch up, but then a lava style flew out and burned the door. When Sasuke turned around, he saw Terumi Mei wiping away red saliva. He smiled and said, "Are all the brats of the Uchiha clan still handsome? Tell me what your relationship is with that guy from Qixing and why you look so similar." At this time, Sasuke had no idea who Qixing was, so he just said, "Don't cause trouble." But how could Terumi Mei give up? "Little handsome guy, as long as you tell me where that guy from Qixing is, I will help you find Danzo." Although the deal was tempting, Sasuke really didn't know who Nanahoshi was. Then Terumi Mei was no longer around and jumped back to escape. But Terumi Mei was so powerful that she opened her mouth and spat out a large area of lava style, directly blocking Sasuke's retreat. Just when Sasuke was unable to retreat, White Zetsu's spores silently absorbed the chakra from everyone, and then expanded instantly, trapping everyone. But Onoki's weighted rock technique can just assimilate White Zetsu's spores. The moment his body is in position, the White Zetsu spores directly turn into earth and stone. Onoki is freed from its restraints and his body floats in midair. Looking at Sasuke, a man of few words, he claps his hands, the dust escapes, and the original realm peels off the technique. I saw a square light body, covering Sasuke for an instant before he could react. The next moment, the light body and Sasuke disappeared at the same time. Chapter 173 Danzo and Forbidden Technique, Izanagi. But at this critical moment, the masked man Afei arrived, rescued Sasuke in time, and was sucked into the Kamui space. At this time, the masked man Afei looked at the cage-level experts and said, "My name is Uchiha Madara. Next, I will tell you about my project Tasuki no Mi. But before that, you need to know the existence of 10 tails." Everyone was stunned when they heard this. What? 10 tails? Aren't there only 9-tailed beasts in total? Yes, there are only 9 of them at the moment, because 10 tails is the collection of all tailed beasts. This is why I want to collect tailed beasts. Only by becoming 10 tails Jinchuriki can I better complete Project Tasuki no Mi. The most important part of Project Tasuki no Mi is to cast infinite Tsukuyomi. Once the ninjutsu is cast, I will project the illusion onto the moon, and then everyone will live in the world I created. I will unify this ninja world. You will live in a world without war and smoke of gunpowder. Isn't this kind of peace wonderful? Tsuchikage heard Afei's words and snorted coldly. Rather than unifying the world, it's better to create a world that belongs only to you. Of course, you were right to say that, so I know that you will not agree to hand over the tailed beast, so I am announcing here. The fourth ninja war has begun. See you on the battlefield then. After saying these words, a Fei disappeared in front of the crowd. At this time, everyone began to discuss countermeasures. After Hokage learned that Killer Bee was alive, he changed his irritable attitude, and finally everyone agreed that Hokage would be the commander-in-chief of the Ninja Alliance. Then everyone starts gathering coalition forces. After speaking, everyone dispersed. On the other side, after the 7 stars disappeared from the battlefield between Naruto and Pain, they immediately separated into 2 clones. One was observing Hokage Qixing in the sky, and the other followed Conan to Rain Shinobi village. Originally, Hydra and Long Xuanji were responsible for introducing these 2 people to Tianshuman, but now Hydra brought white phosphorus to break through Lulin time and space. Long Xuanji and Li Shushan were working intensively to expand the Kingdom of Heaven. At this moment, Qixing had no choice but to separate his clones and personally guide these 2 people. The main body went to look for Danzo, because according to memory, there happened to be a big drama going on at this time. The value of Uzumaki Shangling, a woman's body, is worth studying. How could Qixing let it go? Just when the 7 stars found Danzo, the masked man Fei took the lead and blocked Danzo's way. When Qixing saw the plot unfolding, he did not show up immediately. He just sensed that in another clone's battlefield, less than 20 kilometers away from here, Hokage Qixing was already fighting with Hokage's younger brother, Killer Bee. It can be said that the strength of the 2 is about the same, but Kisami's sword Samahata can absorb the existence of any chakra, and can even merge with Kisame to transform. At this time, Kisame directly used water style. In the water prison, a round water ball with a diameter of more than a kilometer appeared and surrounded Killer Bee. In this water ball, Killer Bee had no power to fight back, almost killed by Kisame. But the battle also became one-sided after Hokage found this place. The 2 brothers used double lariat to kill Kisame. But no one knows that at the moment of death, Kisame swapped places with his elephant body. Elephant turn technique, it is one of the ninjutsu owned by Rinnegan. After activation, other people can have the same appearance as a specific character, and can use all ninjutsu that the specific character knows, including blood inheritance limit, but only the main body has it. With 30% of the chakra, the actions are controlled by the main body and the self-awareness is lost forever. After the chakra is used up, the controlled body dies and returns to its original appearance after death. Only Nanahoshi understands Kisami's cunning. That guy has an amazing amount of chakra hidden in his body. He is the guy with the second largest amount of chakra that Qixing has seen besides Naruto. Moreover, this guy is naturally good at fighting in the water. He has a face, skin color and sharp teeth similar to those of a shark. Qixing understood that this guy would be difficult to tame until he reached despair. The cooldown of 7 stars distinguished heavenly gods is still several months away. After thinking about this, the clone Qixing just hid his body and followed the injured Kisame. Advertisement. As for Danzo, when he saw Fei, he knew that he couldn't leave easily today. Then he opened Shikai to remove the seal on his right hand, and Danzo's assistants, Tegan and Feng, began to attack Fei, but the strength of these 2 people was really different from Fei's. In just 2 rounds, the 2 of them were all taken into Kamui's space by Fei. Danzo felt helpless when he saw this. 2 losers, they're gone now, it seems I have to do it myself. After saying that, he took off the bandage on his right hand. Upon seeing this, Fei joked, "Your opponent is not me." After saying that, he directly released Sasuke from Kamui's space. When Danzo saw these 2 people, he took off the bandage slowly and said disdainfully, "Uchiha Sasuke, Uchiha Madara, I will accept your Sharingan." After saying that, he launched the first attack and rushed directly towards Sasuke. Seeing this, the masked man Fei turned around and jumped onto the high platform, while Sasuke faced Danzo head-on. At this time, Danzo punched Sasuke's Susanoo armor directly. There was a soft thud, but Sasuke was unharmed. Just when Danzo wanted to retreat and jump away, Susanoo's big hand continued to hold it in the palm of his hand. Then there was a sudden force and a "pia" sound, and Danzo was crushed into bloody water. Just when Sasuke thought Danzo was dead, there was a soft sound from behind, and a sharp kunai was stabbed directly on Susanoo's armor. This blow directly broke the kunai. 7 stars saw this scene with a smile on his face. It is indeed a famous scene. The kunai stabbed Susan. My 7-star sword didn't say it could penetrate Susanoo's armor. Aren't you a little kunai looking for abuse? Sure enough, at the moment when the kunai broke, Susanoo's right hand slammed down. Danzo had no time to react and was blasted into the ground by the huge fist, died again. Unexpectedly, Danzo appeared somewhere else again and taunted Sasuke, "You have good defense." Sasuke didn't know what happened. He died twice in real life, only to be resurrected again in an instant. If it were an illusion, it would be impossible for it to be flawless in front of my Sharingan. Sasuke did not believe in evil and glared at Danzo with his right eye. Amaterasu black fire appeared and burned directly on Danzo. In just 3 breaths, Danzo was burned to ashes. But this guy was resurrected with full health again, and appeared behind Sasuke. This time Danzo did not passively take a beating, and directly used wind style and vacuum bombs. Sasuke tried his best to dodge, but still received damage. Seeing this, Danzo didn't want to give this guy a chance to breathe, so he used wind style again. Vacuum wave. but Sasuke spun and jumped to avoid the attack, and at the same time, he used lightning style Thunder Wave to kill Danzo. There was a loud bang and countless smoke and dust splashed up. Danzo used the smoke and dust to use the spiral shuriken, and Sasuke easily caught one, and then the two began to exchange shurikens. Countless explosions spread around, and huge falling rocks also hit the two of them. When the two of them dodged the boulder, they were about to engage in hand-to-hand combat. Danzo was an experienced man and had already arrived at Sasuke's foothold. The moment he stretched out his right hand, he directly grabbed Sasuke's neck. But suddenly a summoning beast falcon appeared in the sky, carrying a Rasen Shuriken, and cut off the hand holding Sasuke's neck. After Sasuke broke free, he slashed upward with a diagonal slash, and Danzo received the lunchbox again. But Sasuke didn't even have time to breathe, and Danzo resurrected again with full health. But the 7 stars in the sky discovered the key problem. Every time Danzo died, one of the eyes on his arm would close. It turns out this is forbidden technique, Izanagi. If you hadn't seen it with your own eyes, no one would have thought that this ability could be so shameless. Although it's very strong, Danzo's old shadow, with his whole arm covered in Sharingan, is really disgusting. Qixing doesn't want to become such a monster. Advertisement Chapter 174 Death of Danzo. Just when Qixing was sighing infinitely, the battle below became fierce again. Sasuke desperately used all his abilities. Danzo died 5 times, but he was still resurrected with full health. At this moment, Sasuke had no choice but to use illusions on Danzo. Danzo, who was trapped in an illusion, did not move. Sasuke flashed upon seeing this and appeared behind Danzo again. However, just when Sasuke wanted to kill Danzo, his body was imprisoned by some kind of force. There was only 0.02 millimeters of the tip of the knife left from Danzo's back, and it could not be sent into Danzo's waist no matter what. It turns out that the moment Danzo pinched Sasuke's neck, he had already planted a binding seal on his body. This time, being so close, of course he could instantly activate the seal and control Sasuke. At this moment, Danzo turned around. The effect of the illusion had been lifted in less than a second, and he was basically unaffected. Looking at Sasuke, who could not move, Danzo took off the knife in his hand and was about to kill him. The moment the knife was swung at Sasuke, Ifei had already made plans to use time and space ninjutsu to save Sasuke, but at this moment, Sasuke's whole body exploded with energy, and his Susanoo actually evolved to a full body at this critical moment. The cursed seal that bound the body was also forcibly broken free, and several people present were shocked. Ifei, who was ready to take action, continued to find a comfortable position to sit down. Susanoo transformed into a large bow and shot an arrow at Danzo. At this time, Danzo had no time to form the seal. The speed of the arrow was too fast. Danzo only had time to release the sealed Hashirama cells in his body. In an instant, a towering tree appeared with lightning speed and deflected the long arrow by 3 points. Danzo finally escaped the disaster. But at this time, Ifei also discovered Danzo's secret. On his right wall, 6 eyes had been closed, and people who were not from the Uchiha clan could control Sharingan. This guy Danzo is also one of Orochimaru's experiments. Ha ha ha, it's really interesting. And the resurrection ninjutsu the guy just performed should be the forbidden technique of the Uchiha clan, Izanagi. Izanagi. It only takes a very short time to turn all the unfavorable factors of the caster, including death, into a dream in an instant, and it can also turn all the attacker's favorable factors into reality. It is able to freely control reality. The boundary between dreams and dreams, the ultimate illusion cast on oneself. Of course, this terrifying ability also has a fatal flaw, that is, as long as this ninjutsu is performed, one of the user's eyes will permanently lose light, and there is no cure. Just when Ifei fell into memories, the battle below became more and more intense. Sasuke's complete Susanoo launched an indiscriminate attack. Danzo could not dodge it at all. At this moment, Danzo immediately used the summoning technique. A huge summoning appeared on the scene. I saw this summoning. The beast looked up to the sky and sucked in. The terrifying suction force directly carried the huge Susanoo forward, while Danzo took the opportunity to go around behind. Sasuke sensed Danzo's actions, formed seals with his hands, and cast Great Fireball. The huge fireball was instantly sucked into Mengmo's mouth. The next moment Mengmo fell to the ground in discomfort. Danzo also took this opportunity and stabbed Susanoo's weakness with a kunai, and a punch from the sky killed Danzo again. At this moment, there is only the last eye left on Danzo's arm. As for Sasuke, due to the consumption of maintaining the Gundam for a long time and the current serious injury, the chakra on his body has been exhausted. Unable to maintain Susanoo's intact form. Finally Susan disappeared. Danzo was resurrected again opposite Sasuke. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that the resurrected Danzo was already extremely weak. At this moment, the moment to decide the outcome came. Both of them were holding knives and running towards each other. Advertisement. But what Danzo doesn't know is that the last eye on his arm has actually been closed, and what he sees now is just the illusion that Sasuke cast when he put his arm around him. The two collided at this moment, and both sides stabbed the knife into each other's abdomen at the same time. Just when Danzo was waiting for his resurrection, the miracle did not happen again, because all the eyes on his arms had been closed. Danzo also woke up at this moment. Illusion. Damn it. After saying that, he retreated sharply, clutching the bleeding wound, and fled back, but now that he was fatally injured, he couldn't escape Sasuke's clutches. At this moment, after absorbing Xiangling's chakra, Sanju's body has recovered to 10%. At this time, he is holding his head and grinning, following behind Danzo, looking like a villain who has succeeded. A Fei really can't stand it anymore, and directly blocked in front of Danzo. Danzo, I accept Shisui's eyes. Just when Ah Fei stretched out his hand to Danzo, Danzo's eyes became extremely determined. Even if I die, I will hold you two on my back. After saying that, he inserted his left hand into his abdomen and activated the seal that had been established in his body a long time ago. He only heard a loud shout, which revealed the sealing technique of the four symbols. Hearing this seal, Fei was shocked and immediately used Kamui Hollow to wrap Sasuke. At the moment when the two disappeared, a huge sphere enveloped 100 meters in radius, and then quickly shrank until it disappeared. Look at Fei and Sasuke again, standing beside Danzo's body safely. I didn't expect that this guy would try to get us to back him up. Here, the four elephant sealing technique is actually a technique that can seal people in the technique, and they can never escape. This old guy is really vicious. But Xiangling, who followed Sasuke, was not so lucky. She was just barely affected by Danzo's four-dimensional seal. Fortunately, Qixing took action and saved her life. But at this time, he was already seriously injured. Seeing this, Qixing lifted Xiangling up with one hand. Road. You are so fragile that you can't even protect yourself, and you will never be able to enter Sasuke's heart. Come with me. When you are so strong that you don't need anyone's protection, you can choose to come to him again. Of course, the movement here also alarmed Fei and Sasuke. When the two of them saw Qixing's appearance, they were shocked. One called out, "Senior," and the other called out, "Sir." Qixing just looked back at the two of them and nodded. Then he said, "Sasuke, I'll take her away. You shouldn't have any objections, right?" After saying that, he threw out a fairy bean and a thunder knife of spiritual weapon level. At this time, Sasuke remained silent because in his heart, he had already given up on Xiangling. After all, women can only affect the speed at which he draws his sword. At this time, Qixing ignored Xiangling's objections and directly used the same ability as a Fei to take Xiangling into the Kamui space. This scene was seen by the two of them, and it was not surprising. Fei had long known the strength of this adult, and Sasuke also learned the lightning-style Kirin from Qixing. However, just as the three of them were chatting, Naruto, Kakashi and Sakura were about to arrive. Chapter 175 Summoning Order for all Tiansho clan members. In fact, Qixing's ultra-distance detection found the traces of these three people as early as when they were close to the 5-kilometer range, and Qixing also knew that they would come, and at the moment he didn't want to stay longer and listen to these guys beeping. Then he looked at Sasuke and Fei with a smile, and just said something incomprehensible. "They're here. If you don't want to tangle with those guys, leave now, otherwise there will be a little trouble." Hearing these words, Sasuke and Fei looked at each other. When they looked at Qixing again, he was nowhere to be seen. Fei knew that this adult would not lie, so he put his hand on Sasuke's shoulder, and the two of them were sucked into the Kamui space at the same time. At the moment when Fei took Sasuke away, Konoha's Naruto, little Sakura, and Kakashi finally arrived here. Seeing that there was no one at the scene, Naruto punched the ground. Damn it, it's still a step too late. Naruto, who had already activated the mouth escape mode, found that the target of the attack had disappeared, and his face was bruised from the pressure. His body fell straight to the ground. Time also passed slowly in this boring atmosphere. Looking at the disappeared Qixing, the figure actually appeared on the second floor of the Tianji building. Looking at Itachi who had recovered 70%, he waved, "Let's go, it's time to make preparations for the fourth battle." As the three of them embarked on in the Tianji formation, light flashed, and Qixing, Weasel, and Quan appeared directly at the Tianshumen station. As soon as they walked out of the teleportation array, Itachi and Izumi were stunned by the sight of Tianshumen, which was more prosperous than Konoha. Even more spectacular. The teleportation array at your feet was moved to the center of Tiansho Square at some point, and on both sides was a huge furnace and a 7-story tower. The stove is a self-cultivation stove, which is the core thing for the growth of the younger generation of Tianshumen. The high tower is one of the branches of Qixing's Tianji Tower. The mystery cannot be explained to outsiders. The entire Tianshumen building is also unique. It is magnificent and magnificent, mixed with grandeur and simplicity. The layout of the 5 great ninja villages is exactly the same as outside. This is also a building that Itachi has never seen before. While the two of them were sighing, Qixing took out a golden shoe character token from the system space, and saw it making a secret with one hand, and a spiritual light was injected into the token. A blue light invisible to the naked eye spread out. It shot into the surrounding space and disappeared without a trace. Once the message is sent, members within Tianshumen Station received a message immediately, and members who were too far away from Tianshumen also saw the content of the message one after another a few minutes after the message was sent. I, as one of the founders of Tiansho Sect, issue a call-out order for all members for the first time, ordering all Tiansho Sect members who are outside to arrive at the Revolving Heaven Shumen Station within 3 days. Now, in a valley, Li Shensho frowned slightly. Did something happen to the entire sect's summons? It's a pity that I'm still one step away from making another breakthrough and becoming as powerful as the sect master. It's a pity, he said. He looked at the giant monster behind him again. Forget it, since the sect has something to do, I'll let you go first. After saying that, he turned around and left. When the giant monster saw this guy leaving, he almost cried with excitement. Come out. In another area filled with wild sand, dozens of huge ants surrounded a naked young man. On the young man's forehead, a forehead protector with the word "Show" written on it explained his identity. At this time, the young man mercilessly used his bare hands to tear apart giant ants as tall as a man. Suddenly a spiritual light flashed on the token on his waist. The young man quickly defeated the ants and sat on the ground. The sect actually issued a summons at this time. Could it be that the sect is about to start establishing a country? Ha ha ha, I have finally waited for this day. I, Li Dusho, will definitely become the strongest guardian of the kingdom of heaven. Situations like this occur in various places in the ninja world, and most young people have auras no less than cage level. Advertisement. Everyone put down what they were doing and hurried to Tianshumen. At the same time, standing on a floating island in Lulan time and space, the nine-headed serpent stared intently at the white snake immortal Biphosphorus in front of him who was bathed in the thunder. The face is full of tenderness. Biphosphorus hopes that you can stabilize your realm within 3 days, otherwise that guy will find trouble again. After hearing this, Biphosphorus blinked his eyebrows twice. He understood the meaning. Elsewhere, in the valley, Kimimaro and Gurren stood guard in front of a tomb, looking at the ice flowers in their hands, and the last tear Gurren shed turned into ice crystals. Kimimaro said, "The sect has issued a summons order for all members, and they must rush back within 3 days. I think the master's plan is about to begin. Let's go. With our strength, we have to speed up the process. When Hanlian arrives at the sect, as long as you get enough points, any of your wishes may be realized." Hearing this, Gurren's eyes lit up, as if he had made up his mind. In just 2 breaths, the two disappeared in this valley. At this time, the screen changed. The clone of Qixing followed Conan to Rain Shinobi Village, but at the same time, the leader behind the Akatsuki organization, Afei, also arrived. As soon as Afei appeared, Conan had already sensed his presence. Looking for something? Yes. Where did you put Nagato's body? You know I won't tell you. HMPH. Very good. The Akatsuki organization has 0 tolerance for traitors, so I can only ask you to die. But before Afei could finish his words, Conan had already thrown the paper shuriken, and at the same time, he transformed into an angel, carrying countless pieces of paper and flew out, rushing towards Afei. But Afei saw through Conan's intentions and said, "You're such an innocent little girl who wants to seize the moment when I materialize and attack me." After finishing speaking, Afei activated Kamui and sucked all the pieces of paper, including Conan, into his Kamui space. But he didn't realize that these pieces of paper were all composed of detonating talismans. Unexpectedly, the detonating talismans detonated at the entrance of the space. With a loud bang, Afei lost one of his left arms, and Conan lost his lower body. This time Afei knew that he had underestimated this girl and actually wanted to die with me. Innocent. If you have any other tricks, use them. Hearing this, Conan spread his hands again. At this moment, the huge lake was split into 2 halves in the middle. What was even more terrifying was that the lake was actually composed of 600 billion detonating symbols. The position where Afei stood was exactly in the center of the detonating talisman. Seeing this situation, Afei no longer hesitated and used Kamui to escape, but at this time Afei's body was covered with detonating symbols. Even if he escaped now, he would be seriously injured by the detonating symbols. At this time, he could only choose Kamui Hollow to slow down the damage. But Conan's 600 billion detonating talismans are not so easy to avoid. Afei's Kamui Hollow only lasts for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, Kamui must be used again. At this time, the body will appear as an entity for half a second. The detonating talisman in front of him was still exploding continuously. Afei knew there was no way to escape. Now I can only give up one eye and use the forbidden technique of the Uchiha clan, Izanagi. Chapter 176 Conan and Kisame. When the explosion lasted for 5 minutes, Afei finally activated Izanagi. Although his body was blown to pieces in the explosion, Izanagi took effect and another Afei emerged above the explosion. The explosion lasted for 10 minutes. Just when Conan thought Afei was dead, a meter-long steel pipe suddenly penetrated Conan from behind. Conan was stunned by the sudden injury. How is it possible? Shouldn't you be dead? I obviously didn't sense your chakra just now. Haha. Do you know Izanagi? The forbidden technique of the Uchiha clan can only be used by those who possess the power of both the Senju clan and the Uchiha clan. At the cost of losing one eye, all the unfavorable factors for the caster, including death, are instantly transformed into a dream, and all the attacker's favorable factors can be transformed into reality. It seems you still don't understand me well enough. Impossible. How do you have this kind of power? Isn't that the power that Sage of Six Paths only has? Yes, that is indeed the power of Sage of Six Paths. Do you know that I am about to surpass Sage of Six Paths? Do you regret trusting Naruto so easily now? At this time, Conan didn't speak. He rushed forward and broke away from Afei's steel pipe. He then turned around and prepared to attack, but Afei didn't give him any chance. The moment he disappeared, he directly grabbed Conan's neck with one hand, lifted him up easily. But just where neither of them noticed, a ray of green light shot into Conan's mind. Little girl, don't be so tough, just pretend to be dead for once. If you are really dead, my clone can't use the spirit binding general to absorb your soul. You can only really die. You just need to close your eyes now and leave the rest to me. At this time, Conan was already a little desperate. Please, senior, please help me kill Madara. Nanahoshi's clone just shook his head. My clone has no fighting power, let alone his opponent, and I promised one person that I, including my clone, will not interfere with his project Tsuki no Mi. Besides, the ninja world is a world that needs heroes. If it is not desperate, the existence of heroes will become redundant. And I, Tenhyman, am the hero who saves the ninja world. After hearing this, Conan slowly closed his eyes, and the next moment his heartbeat and breathing stopped. Upon seeing this, Afei threw Conan into the water. Turn around and walk towards where Nagato is. When Afei left, the clone finally showed his body, walked to Conan, picked up Conan and walked towards Tiansho Gate. At this time, the screen changed. We came to another clone of 7 stars, which was a mobile desert island. Killer Bee and Guy were bringing Naruto here for special training. However, Kisame, who was seriously injured, also fled here. At this time, he was looking at the waterfall in front of him, trying to see what he really looked like from the real waterfall. Kisame just happened to rush out. The two of them were so frightened by each other that they took a step back. Guy thought that this person was covered in spikes. Guys are just who they are. Then he said righteously and solemnly, "You guy who has forgotten his youth, let me teach you a lesson." After saying that, he went straight to the physical arts, and Konoha Rock rose. I saw Guy launch a powerful elbow from the air, directly from Kisame came out of the water and hit a solid rock. Confused Kisame looked at Guy in front of him, thinking about how to escape. But Killer Bee recognized Kisame's identity at a glance. Advertisement. Then everyone was informed of this guy's identity. This guy with thorns all over his body was Akatsuki's spy. Everyone heard this and all looked at Kisame. But after releasing Samahata, Kisame dived directly into the water, and Samahata happily ran towards Killer Bee. Kisame was in the water and began to hold Samahata's handle. At this moment, Samahata began to absorb Killer Bee's chakra. In just 2 breaths, Kisame's chakra had returned to full value. However, there are many enemies in this place. Kisame immediately used water shark bombs to rush out of the sky and escape from here. Guy saw Akatsuki's spies fleeing and directly opened the 6th gate of the 8 inner gates. The figure flashed and followed Kisame. At this moment, Kisame fled forward just to send the information back to the Akatsuki organization. While running quickly, Kisame had already stuffed the written information into the mouth of a shark. But all this was discovered by Guy who followed. The battle between the two is about to break out. I saw Kisame forming seals with his hands and using the ninpo technique. Thousands of sharks, and then thousands of sharks rushed towards Guy on the waves. Guy did not panic when he saw this. He jumped up, he was in the air, and directly used 8 inner gates. 6th gate stunt, facing the peacock. At this moment, countless light birds rushed towards thousands of sharks. But those sharks were endlessly killing them, and it was impossible to find out which shark had the information. Now Guy could only jump into the water and cast 8 inner gates 7th gate again, and the door opened in surprise. After the alarm door opened, Guy directly used the day tiger attack, and saw a white tiger rushing towards Kisame in the water without any hindrance. Kisame thought this move was a ninjutsu attack, so he also used his own special skill, water style. Super large shark bullet technique. This move is a ninjutsu that can absorb chakra to become stronger. The more powerful the enemy's ninjutsu is, the stronger the shark bullet will be. But he ignored that Guy was just a pure taijutsu ninja, and how could he use ninjutsu? The two attacks collided. Although the big shark bullet swallowed up the Hirutora, it did not become larger. Instead, they cancelled each other out. The other Hirutora hit Kisame directly against the disappearing shark bullet. The blow hit Kisame head-on, causing a frightened roar mixed with a huge wave. When the storm calmed down, Kisame lay on the water and Guy stood beside Kisame. This time, it was clear who was stronger and who was weaker. After the battle, Naruto, Yamato, and Killer Bee finally arrived. In order to prevent Kisame from escaping again, Yamato directly used wood style to control Kisame. As an intelligence ninja, Aoba began to check Kisame's memory. But just when Aoba thought he was about to know Akatsuki's information, Kisame bit his tongue and broke free. Everyone was shocked. When Guy saw this, Guy Wangchen directly greeted him. But Kisame has already used the water prison technique to trap himself, so any attack cannot take effect immediately. Then Kisame summoned a shark in the water prison and swallowed him up bit by bit. The blood had turned the water prison red. When the 7-star clone in the sky saw this, the time had come. Uzumaki spun in his eyes, and the next moment his body appeared directly in the blood-red water prison, pulling Kisame with most of his body left. Uzumaki spun in his eyes again, and the suction force pulled the two. People are absorbed into the Kamui space at the same time. Disappeared without a trace. But from the outside, Kisame is summoning sharks to feed himself. Several people were shocked by Kisame's behavior again. When the water prison technique was lifted, Kisame had turned into a pool of blood, leaving no clues to the enemy. At this time Guy said, even if that guy is a member of the Akatsuki organization, he must admit that he is a respectable opponent. He spent the first half of his life killing his companions in order not to leak information, and in his last moments, I still haven't forgotten my principles. Guy is right about this. If there were no 7 stars, the ending would certainly be like this. It's a pity that they don't know that Tianshuman, a mysterious sect, is conquering those with penultimate talents and great perseverance in the ninja world. As for the purpose of Tianshuman, I am afraid only Uchiha Qixing knows. Chapter 177 Departure from Tiansho Gate. Things here finally come to an end. The two avatars also successfully completed their missions. They both carried their own mission goals and rushed through the clouds towards Tiansho Gate. 3 days also flew by. The Ninja Coalition forces for the Fourth Ninja World War have finally assembled, and Orochimaru Kabuto's Dirty Soil Army has also dispatched in time. There are even local battles, but no matter how fierce the battle outside is. Tianshuman was very busy at this time. I saw that the Tiansho square of the sect was filled with seats. Qixing took the lead and sat at the top. Long Xuanji and Li Shushan sat on the left and right of them. The elders sat in the second row and the disciples of the first generation sat in the third row, second generation disciples sat in the last row, while 7,000 outer disciples all stood on the periphery and watched. And those sect servants were looking at the people standing on the square with envy. Thousands of rays of light burst out in my heart, longing for my descendants to stand there one day. This is the highest honor. Just as everyone was whispering, there was a fluctuation in the forbidden barrier of Tianshuman. Long Xuanji looked up at Qixing and said, "My lord, it was Kimimaro who came back with Honglian at the last moment." Qixing waved his hand, and a gust of wind turned into a stream of light and shot towards the door. In less than 10 seconds, everyone saw Kimimaro pulling Honglian and riding the strong wind to Tiansho Square. Only this move made everyone in the sect stunned. The 7-star elder was really powerful. What kind of magical ninjutsu was this? No matter what other people guessed at this moment, Kimimaro had already come closer, looked at Qixing, held the red lotus, and knelt down on one knee. "I have met the master, I have met the sect master, and I have met all the elders." Qixing raised his hand, and an invisible energy lifted up Kimimaro and Gurren. Looking at Kimimaro, whose momentum had obviously improved slightly, and Gurren, who had just entered the cage level, Qixing said happily, "Thank you for your hard work. Welcome to Tianshuman, Honglian." At this time, Gurren was being pulled by Kimimaro. When he walked to the front, he was still confused. Although Gurren heard a lot about the deeds of Qixing and Tianshuman along the way, he also knew that each of these guys in front of him was stronger than the last. But when I saw it with my own eyes, I was still shocked. At this moment, Honglian's eyes seemed to have a huge mountain that was too high to reach. This is also the huge gap between cage level and 6 pads level. At this moment Honglian lowered his proud head, because she looked around and found that Tianshuman, even the younger generation, was much stronger than him. Just after Honglian took his seat in the third row, 2 golden rays of light in the sky directly broke through the barrier of Tiansho Gate, and a man and a woman appeared next to Qixing. "I've met the master, I've met the sect master." When Qixing saw the visitor, he chuckled and said, "Not bad, we broke through so quickly." Bifosphorus said with joy, "Thank you, sir, for providing the perfect place for a breakthrough. Otherwise, we don't know when we will have such an opportunity in this ninja world. Even if we break through then, we will still be monitored by the above." While the 3 of them were talking, the 2 clones of Qixing have also arrived at Tiansho Gate. Then he waved his hand again, and 2 light gates leaped out of the barrier in the sky. 2 clones carried 2 seriously injured people and landed on the ground. Qixing looked at the 2 people's injuries and said, "Just throw them into the self-cultivation furnace. As for the points, wait until they are willing to do the tasks in exchange for them and then deduct them." The 2 clones have no doubt that he is there. Throw Konan and Kisame into the big furnace. After 2 minutes of tumbling, the stove was finally turned on with everyone's envious eyes on it. At this moment, Konan and Kisame came out of it completely. When Konan saw Itachi for the first time, he couldn't believe it. "No way, aren't you dead, Itachi?" Advertisement Kisame, on the other hand, was not too surprised. "Mr. Itachi, I knew you wouldn't die that easily. I'm so lucky to see you again." After saying that, he walked over to sit next to Itachi. Konan saw that there were nearly 10,000 people present, and the aura gave people a strong sense of oppression. At this time, I was in the same place, not daring to move. Itachi waved, and Konan saw this and slowly walked onto the third row of seats. At this time, the disciples of Tiansho sect have gathered together at the most complete level in history. Qixing glanced downwards and asked, "Is there anyone from Shu Tien who hasn't arrived yet?" "Sir Elder, Shensho and Tiansho have not returned yet." But as soon as he finished speaking, 2 phantoms appeared on Tiansho Square. Then he slowly solidified and laughed, "Ha ha ha, how could such an important moment be without us?" Li Shensho, a first-generation disciple of the Tiansho sect, has met the sect master and all the elders. Li Tiansho, a first-generation disciple of Tiansho sect, has met the sect master and all the elders. When everyone saw these 2 familiar faces, they all couldn't believe it. How could it be possible that the strength of these 2 guys had risen from Chunin to cage level in just a few years? With one kick, you can break through and reach super cage level. What kind of monster is this? At this time, Konan and Itachi looked at them with wonderful eyes, while Gurren lowered his head even harder. His young mind had been severely affected. Kimimaro, who he thought he had known for a long time, had broken through to the middle of cage level. He is a genius, but when he came to his sect, he realized that none of the guys in this sect were useless. When the elders saw this scene, they were also secretly frightened. The combat power of these first-generation disciples might not exceed cage level. Everyone was still talking about the 2 of them, and Qixing pointed his finger at the 2 empty elder seats, gesturing for the 2 of them to take their seats. At this moment, no one was dissatisfied, some were just envious. Even the little ones sitting in the 10 most special seats cast expectant glances. Although they are in the top 10 of Tianshou sect and all have the strength at the early stage of cage level, only those two guys can stand out and become elders at their age. And these 10 people are the top 10 experts on the Tianshou list. He is also a role model for the younger generation of Tianshumen. Conan looked at these 10 people, shocked and thinking at the same time, what was the background of this sect? Can produce so many talents. Just when everyone is envious. Qixing spoke again. Very good. Everyone is here. Equals. When we call everyone back this time, I think everyone already has the answer in their minds. You guessed it right. The Fourth Ninja World War has begun to break out, and our Tianshou sect will push the sect's reputation to the pinnacle of the ninja world in this Fourth Ninja World War. All Tianshou sect disciples and elders above cage level must all participate. The costumes are unified with black dragon patterns on a blue background and gold edges. The red, show, characters are highlighted on the chest and cuffs. Every area that the cage level team is responsible for, pick up the map in your hands. Do you see the red area? Place the talismans in your hands in the red area. I will not allow you to make any mistakes. Everyone stood up and shouted, it's Elder Qixing. There will be many powerful guys appearing this time, and cage level can only protect itself. I hope you are all still alive after this time and can grow together with Tianshumen. Because unifying the ninja world is only the first step for my Tianshou clan. There is still a longer road ahead for us to walk. Set off. Chapter 178 7 Stars Ambition and the Resurrection of Uchiha Madara. At this time, the 10,000 people in Tianshou sect were divided into 8 teams and left the sect to embark on the battlefield of the Fourth Ninja War. However, it was not the time for them to fight for their lives. Now each team has at least 2 a cage level strong person, or even an even stronger person, leads the team. Their first task is to place the talisman in their hands at the designated location and activate the talisman. At this moment, the 8 teams were like 8 long dragons rushing in 8 directions. These 8 teams correspond to the 8 directions of the 8 trigrams. The leader of each team holds a strange talisman in their hands. They cannot sense the function of the talisman at all, but they only know that this talisman is related to some kind of space. A huge connection. At this time, the 8 teams had arrived at their destination according to the map guidance. Only Sea, Qian, Heaven, Direction, led by Long Xuanji and Shushin. They unfolded the talisman seals in their hands, and the talisman of time was clearly written on it. Kun, Land, Direction, led by Kimimaro and Gurren. They also unfolded the talismans in their hands, and there was only an empty word written on them. Gen, Thunder, Direction, led by Shensho and Zuisho. They unfolded the talismans in their hands, and there was a yin written on them. Li, Fire. Fang are led by Qi and Xiao Di. They unfolded the talisman seal in their hands, which was a yang talisman. Shuan, Wind, and Azimuth were led by Kisame and Itachi. There is a green line carved on the talisman seals they hold in their hands. Kan, Water, and Direction are led by Conan and Xiao. The talisman in their hands clearly showed a white tiger. General, Mountain, and Direction are led by Dusho and Chaosho. The talisman in their hands depicts a red vermilion bird. Dui, Zi, and Fangfong were led by 2 elders. The talisman they held in their hands clearly showed a Xuanwu. At this moment, everyone looked at the center of the battlefield and saw Qixing forming seals with his hands and shouting loudly. The yin and yang are in chaos, there are 4 phenomena and 8 desolations, and the holy beast reaches the sky and intercepts one side. After saying these words, a soft energy like water waves formed a semicircle, covering the entire area of 100 kilometers. Everyone in Tianshou sect began to form seals one after another, and saw countless rays of light in the battlefield, rushing towards the 4 divine beast talismans. Countless blood and water from nowhere in the ground suddenly poured into the 4 space-time and yin-yang talisman seals. The next moment, 8 talismans rose into the air, pulling each other. The talisman of time pulls the green dragon talisman. The talisman of the sky pulls the white tiger talisman. The yin talisman pulls the Xuanwu talisman. The yang talisman pulls the vermilion bird talisman. At this moment, the 8 talismans merged into 4, and 4 pillars of light rose into the sky. All the people of Tianshou sect poured their own chakra into the talisman. The light grew stronger and stronger, until at a certain moment, the light spread and poured into nearly 10,000 Tianshou sect and its disciples. All the disciples felt that their whole bodies were illuminated by a ball of sunlight, which was warm. If they were not on the battlefield, these guys would probably lie on the ground and sleep. This is strange to say. With such obvious 4 pillars of light, no one in the battlefield, whether it is the White Zetsu army or the Ninja Alliance, seems to have not seen it. Why is this? Hydra looked at Qixing curiously and asked this question. Qixing said with a smile, my yin-yang 8 desolations heavenly formation can isolate all those who have not seen the talisman and seal. As long as you do not see any of the 8 talismans and seals, you will not perceive his existence in any form. His most powerful function is to assist the battlefield. In this formation, even if you are seriously injured, you can recover in a few breaths. Biphosphorus and Hydra were shocked when they heard this. Is this true, sir? Advertisement, that's not all. Do you know what energy this formation is driven by? Have no idea. Ha ha ha. Look at the battle below and what will happen. Of course people will die. Yes. Dead man. Could it be that these are using their corpses as energy? You are only half right. They are indeed dead, and their bodies will be used as energy by me. But the moment everyone dies, their body energy will be quickly lost in the world. And my formation is to capture this energy, use it for your own use. What's even more terrifying is that the souls who died in the formation will no longer go to the Pure Land, but will transfer from this formation to my black and white world. When the black and white world's soul energy is enough, it will evolve into a new, prototype of the world's seed. After hearing this, the two snakes suddenly realized, so this is your purpose, sir. But just by collecting the souls, blood and fighting spirit of this war, can you really evolve the black and white world in your eyes into the seeds of the prototype of the world? Qixing chuckled upon hearing this and said, who knows? It may not be enough, but if you add the sacred tree, there may be unexpected gains. It turns out, sir, you have already thought of everything. Ha ha ha. Otherwise, why do you think I have to spend so much effort and wait until this day? Moreover, all those who have bathed in the glory of the formation will continue to receive the life energy of the dead. Their physical fitness will continue to become stronger. This war is also a gift I give them. Hearing this, Immortal White Snake was shocked and speechless. Hydra said, what kind of genius is this to develop such a heaven-defying ninjutsu? Hearing this, Qixing already laughed like a pig. You call this a ninjutsu? It's a joke. This is no longer within the scope of ninjutsu. You don't understand it yet, but you will understand it soon. Okay, you and Biphosphorus will guard the core of this formation. This core is very precious. The rats in the Pure Land have long been aware of what is happening here, and now there are many people around who are peering at this core. Although Shinigami did not come in person this time, I have already sensed the aura of Long Awushin. Ha ha ha, just let me go meet my old friends, my lord, be careful. Before they finished speaking, Qixing had already disappeared in front of the two of them. At this moment, only White Phosphorus and Hydra are left in the 10,000-meter altitude. The two snakes stared blankly at the fist-sized black and white core in front of them, and then looked at the battlefield below, where those ant-like people were fighting and dying. And their bodies, all the blood, slowly decayed at the moment of death. But the partners around them don't have time to pay attention to this. And when their bodies disappear from the ground, the black and white core in front of the two snakes will become larger. The killings on the battlefield have become more and more intense. The strongest plot character at the moment, Uchiha Madara, has been resurrected by impure world reincarnation. He was seen standing on a rock, curiously looking at the ant-like army below. Ninja Forehead Protector, has the ninja world formed a new coalition? Chapter 179 The Five Shadows Gather. As soon as Madara finished speaking, a terrifying aura swept over the entire place. Some ninjas were already shaking with fear. At this moment, he murmured, it seems that Shao Tuzi's plan is not going smoothly, just use this method to resurrect me. But my power now is even better than before, I am immortal. Ha ha ha, then let me try the strength of this new ninja alliance. After saying that, he jumped off the stone platform directly. Walking steadily towards the entire ninja coalition, when Madara started running, the terrifying air wave swept across the entire ninja coalition again. Those ninjas who were already trembling with fear had tears and runny noses all over the floor. But no one took a step back at this time. But the entire coalition army has been surrounded by Madara's momentum. Although they have not retreated, they have been defeated. At this moment, Madara's speed is getting faster and faster, like a wolf among sheep. Her body coordination is rapidly recovering, and her speed is still accelerating. There is no fancy fighting, but Madara is preparing for the next battle. These ninjas are like one punch. Suddenly, a little ninja with eyes without fighting wanted to sneak up on Madara from behind. Madara seemed to have eyes behind her back and grabbed the opponent's neck with her backhand. Boy, do you even want to dance? Just when Madara wanted to kill this guy with force, Tamari not far away saw her hands forming a seal, and the fire sickle was used. A terrifying firebomb hit Madara's body with the help of the wind, and directly knocked it away 100 meters before exploding. When the smoke cleared, Madara just flicked the dust off her body. He said disdainfully, dual attributes, wind-fire style ninjutsu. Let me tell you what fire style is. As she spoke, Madara crossed her hands and put her index fingers together. He yelled loudly, fire style, the fire is extinguished. I saw a 1,000-meter-long fire, overwhelmingly attacking the coalition forces. When everyone saw this, thousands of water-type ninjas joined forces at the same time and used water barrier to resist. Water and fire collided, and the explosion produced a huge plume of smoke that swept across the battlefield. At this moment, Madara used the thick smoke to perform fire style again, continuous great fireball technique. Hundreds of giant great fireballs fell from the sky in the thick smoke, defeating the entire ninja coalition and killing nearly half of them. Seeing this, Gaara directly cast Sand Binding Coffin, trying to use the sand to catch Madara, but it was obvious that he was overthinking. Even an elite Jonin, let alone Madara, could easily dodge such a simple technique. At this time, Naruto pounced, holding massive Rasengan in his hand, falling from the sky and hitting Madara's direction. In order to prevent Madara from escaping, Onoki also used Earth Style at the same time. The Earth's crust shook, and the Earth also rushed out of a stone pillar at this moment, pushing Madara in front of the big ball Rasengan. All the coalition forces only heard a dull explosion, and they were excited to hit the target. But Madara was once again unscathed. Everyone only saw a dark blue giant wrapping Madara and blocking all attacks for him. This is Madara's Susanoo. At this moment, Madara's eyes also transformed into Mangekyo Sharingan. Susanoo showed off her power at this moment, just like chopping melons and vegetables, killing the ninja coalition until they lost their armor. Madara was not satisfied. Susan grew 2 arms again, and a light blade burst out from Susan's arms. The huge shockwave directly leveled a kilometer radius. Just when everyone was helpless against Madara, Naruto's strongest ninjutsu, the wind-style spiral shuriken, was ready to go. Gaara also took the opportunity to trap Susanoo and pulled Madara out of Susanoo. Naruto's Rasen Shuriken was thrown into Madara's sky at the same time. At this critical moment, Madara's Mangekyo Sharingan evolved again and directly became a Rinnegan. Madara just stretched out her right hand and absorbed the Rasen Shuriken. Advertisement. Everyone was shocked by this change. Rinnegan, how should we face such a terrifying enemy now? While the ninja coalition was still shocked, Madara finally began to form seals in earnest. Just listen to the loud shouting in his mouth. Really, Tengai Shinsei. As his hands changed rapidly, the ninja coalition felt that the sky, which was clear just now, had turned dark. When everyone looked up to the sky, a huge meteorite over a kilometer fell above everyone's heads. Facing the meteorite that covered the sky and the sun, the ninjas of the coalition froze in place and gave up resistance. Our strength is not in the same dimension at all. Is this the power of God? But the old guy Onoki would not give up easily. He actually flew into the sky alone, trying to hold up the meteorite with mortal strength. At this moment Onoki roared, Earth-style, super light heavy rock technique. As soon as he finished speaking, the meteorite collided with Onoki. At this time, Onoki felt as if he had been hit by a 300-horse train. His whole body began to spurt blood in the sky, but he still did not give up. Gaara was not idle when he saw this. He raised his hands, and the countless yellow sand on the ground turned into a 1,000-meter palm, trying to hold up the meteorite. Finally, with the efforts of the two, the nearly 3,000-meter meteorite stopped at an altitude of 100 meters. The ninja coalition finally breathed a sigh of relief. Stop, we don't have to die. At this moment, everyone was as happy as a child. But what Madara said next made everyone's hearts drop to the bottom. Onoki, you little guy is very good, so what should you do with the second one? As soon as Madara finished speaking, the second meteorite hit the first meteorite. This time, violent vibrations were felt within a radius of dozens of kilometers. After the meteorite fell, a huge explosion occurred, and 9.9% of the entire 2nd Brigade of the Ninja Alliance had been sacrificed. At this moment, the battlefield could be said to be filled with millions of corpses and rivers of blood. And this is the ending Qixing wants to see. At this time, above the 10,000-meter sky that no one could see, Hydra and Biphosphorus looked at the black and white core in front of them in surprise. This thing has actually doubled in size. This core is absorbing the blood and vitality of those guys that are escaping in the air. I'm afraid this thing is not as simple as Master Qixing said. Oh, no matter what, I made a contract with him. The stronger he becomes, the higher my upper limit of strength will be. This is a good thing. But I didn't expect that the boy named Madara is so strong. He was almost killed just now. He senses our presence. And the ninjutsu of impure world reincarnation is so magical. I need to study it carefully in the future. He was not resurrected by my disciple. I never expected that a little guy who was just taught casually would become a being that can compete with the entire ninja world. That little guy can be considered a genius. How about we go help them? Don't make a move, or you will miss your master's business. The person he was waiting for hasn't shown up yet. I don't think he only had this purpose in setting up such a terrifying formation. Okay, wait a minute. After saying that, the two looked down again. At this moment, in the dust splashed by the meteorite, Tsuchikage Onoki and Kasuke Gaara saved Naruto's clone. In the entire Second Alliance army, only a few of them survived, and they were seriously injured. Madara looked deeply at these people, just when Madara wanted to take action to deal with these guys. Tsunade, who was still at the coalition headquarters, and Raikage were sent by technique, and teleported to the center of the battlefield, just in time to block Madara's killing blow. Then Mizukage Terumi Mei was also teleported by Shuenshin and the others using the Flying Thunder God technique. At this moment, the 5 shadows finally gathered. Chapter 180. The Great Dark Sky. The 5 shadows looked at Madara in front of them with a very solemn expression. Madara doesn't care how many people are coming across from her, she drives the Gundam and just goes up there and does it. Although the 5 shadows had never cooperated before, they acted in a tacit understanding. At this time, Hokage Tsunade began to use medical ninjutsu to heal Gaara and Onoki's injuries. Raikage and Mizukage began to restrain Madara in front of them, and saw Terumi Mei perform lava-style, monster melting technique. A large amount of milky white liquid was sprayed towards Madara, but Madara didn't pay much attention to this attack and changed lava-style's position with a wave of her hand. However, Raikage was given the super light heavy rock technique, making his body as light as a swallow and reaching ultimate speed. While Madara was avoiding lava-style, the instant technique was activated, and even Madara did not find any trace of him. Madara was hit by Raikage's physical skills and strange power. The figure fell directly into Terumi Mei's lava-style. The next second, Madara drove Susanna again and glared at Raikage. Do you want to dance too? But Raikage doesn't tell you about martial arts at all. Jump into the air and use ninjutsu. Lateral bolt of pain. Chop is used, and a terrifying punch hits Madara's Susanoo head-on. Madara didn't pay attention to the attack at first, but the next moment, Hokage once again used his strange power technique in ninja technique. Madara felt a terrifying energy hit Susanoo, and with a click, Madara's Susanoo was penetrated by Hokage at this moment. Madara's body was also hit and flew thousands of meters away. At this moment, Madara was a little confused. He never thought that one day, someone would be able to break his Susanoo with one punch. While the five shadows took advantage of Madara being knocked away, Terumi Mei immediately used the Kirikage technique to hide everyone, while Tsunade had already stabilized the injuries of Gaara and Onoki. The five shadows gathered together again and began to briefly discuss a plan to defeat Madara. At the same time, the 7 stars that disappeared from the sky have found that familiar aura and are now at the edge of the battlefield. I saw 3 people standing on a solitary peak. One was an acquaintance of Qixing, Long Wushan, and behind him stood a tall man and a girl with an exquisite figure. At this moment, Long Wushan spoke. It smells so familiar. It reminds me of someone. Sure enough, the rightful owner appeared and said with a chuckle, Mr. Long Ao, aren't you very familiar with him? Long time no see. Ha ha ha, the little guy of the Uchiha family. I wonder why you are so familiar. I didn't expect that not only did you not die in that kind of Jedi, but you have grown to this point. I really envy your talent. It's nice to be young. Ha 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 ha, Mr. Long Ao deserves the award. Why are you free to come to the ninja world today? Hearing this, Long Wushan narrowed his eyes and said, of course there is a new mission. Did you know that the entrance to the Pure Land was sealed, and hundreds of thousands of souls were unable to find the entrance to the Pure Land? In the end, we found out that they were all robbed by a black and white world. Isn't this your fault again? Mr. Long Ao is joking. With my 6 pads level strength, I'm afraid I can't do this. On the other hand, Mr. Long Ao, although he is a 6 pads level clone, the 2 people around him are real. An immortal level powerhouse. You are really generous. A good boy, with good eyesight. I'm not mincing words. The Ninja World War has been going on for a long time, and the Shinigami guy has also approved the resurrection of the person who should be resurrected. The remaining tributes are not enough, and you, the Ninja World, have violated the rules. We have already negotiated terms with Black Zetsu. After hearing this, Qixing couldn't help but smile. Advertisement, Black Zetsu, I have known for a long time that the Ninja World War is not that simple. If you want to resurrect Kagayaheim, haha, then I will help you. Thinking of this, he looked at Long Wushan with a smile. Why didn't Mr. Long Ao go to find Black Zetsu, but instead went to this remote place? At this time, Long Wushan hadn't spoken yet, but the strong man beside him spoke. Boy, don't start the topic for me. Black Zetsu violated Shinigami's rules, and of course you have to pay a price, but you have the aura of the black and white world in you, must be related to that world. HMPH, I'll take you back first and hand you over to Shinigami-sama for review. Yeah? Then it depends on whether you have this ability. Qixing hooked his fingers at this moment, come on. When Long Wushan heard this, he knew something was wrong and wanted to dissuade him. Shark King, don't be impulsive. But how could the strong man named Shark King resist such an obvious provocation? I saw him looking up to the sky and shouting angrily. A head full of blue hair flying in the sky, dare to challenge the majesty of the Shark King. Death. Dead word export. The Shark King quickly ran towards Qixing, and an extremely dazzling blue light emerged from his fist, slamming towards Qixing. Soul method. Shark King fist. Qixing didn't even look at this guy. He just waved his hand and a strange creature stood in front of Qixing. I saw this guy wearing a green helmet with 2 tentacles on top, and his muscles were exploding. The most special thing was his tail, which was so thick and long. The spikes on the tail shone with a cold light. This was the Ant King who had just returned to the early stage of immortal level. As soon as the Ant King appeared, a red light suddenly appeared in his hand, and he also ran quickly and threw a punch, 1,000 ant hands. Several people only heard 2 loud noises in the air, bang, bang. Then the Ant King and the Shark King were knocked back one after another and returned to the position where they were just standing, and their right hands became paralyzed at the same time, and kept shaking. Obviously, the opponent's punch is not that simple. At this time, the Shark King did not look back, but just frowned slightly and said, Long Ying takes action together. This guy is very strange. His power carries a powerful corrosive force and can actually invade my body and paralyze my nerves. After hearing this, Long Ying stood up and said, Shark King, please step back and see how I deal with this guy. At this moment, Long Ying was full of confidence and looked arrogant. Although she was a stunning beauty, her eyes revealed absolute confidence. I saw Long Ying walking slowly in front of the Shark King. The aura all over his body surged, and a pair of soul armor wrapped Long Ying's bumpy body. Then the armor's black light emitted, and the terrifying darkness struck towards everyone. Everyone only heard one sentence, Soul Method, Great Dark Sky. Then everyone was instantly wrapped in this darkness, and their bodies were imprisoned by the surrounding darkness, unable to move at all. Only Long Ying's figure could walk freely in the darkness. At this moment, a voice echoed in Qixing's ears. Little handsome boy, if you give up, I won't kill you. How about that? Qixing, who was in the dark, raised the corners of his mouth and chuckled, okay. If you can escape from my hands, how about I agree to your request? When Long Ying heard this, she felt angry. Humph, you don't know that you are about to die. Innocent boy, since you are looking for death, then I will help you. Chapter 181 Devouring the Great Dark Sky. After saying this, Qixing felt that all the darkness around him was gathering towards him. When he could see clearly what was in the darkness, countless evil spirits were already rushing towards Qixing. Horrible strange faces, mutilated limbs, and evil spirits with excited faces. When Qixing saw this, he didn't panic at all and didn't even ask the system to help him. He just opened his right eye and chuckled. I was still worried about whether the souls of this war would be enough to form the prototype of the world's seeds. I didn't expect that your express delivery would come to my door. I really have to thank you very much, Long Ying. Before he finished speaking, circles of ripples shot out from Qixing's right eye. At this moment, Qixing's eyes reflected the black and white world that he was transforming into. The endless suction in the world pulled the evil spirits forward. And what the tens of thousands of evil spirits saw was a terrifying abyss, with countless powerful monsters circling in the abyss. Seeing this scene, the evil spirits were like mice seeing cats, screaming crazily and retreating. The strong evil spirit even started to kill all the evil spirits blocking its escape route. When Long Ying saw this scene, she was almost shocked. It seemed that the guy in front of me had a wild beast in his eyes, and he was so frightened. And when Long Ying's gaze penetrated the dark sky and looked at Qixing's right eye, a scream. How is it possible? This is impossible. How could the seeds of the prototype of the world appear in your eyes? Who are you? Oh my, what a shame. Someone can actually see my secret through my Da Luo Tian Yan. You are really not simple. If that's the case, then I can only ask a beauty like you to die. Miss Long. You, arrogant guy. Since you want to die so much, then die. At this time, Long Ying, who was furious, began to gather strength and prepared to give Qixing the final blow. Long Ying's hands were constantly changing, as if they were forming seals or drawing talismans. Qixing saw this and did not stop him. He just said softly, this seems to be a sacrifice from some mysterious sacrifice. Sure enough, Qixing's guess was correct. This was indeed Long Ying sacrificing all the evil spirits she had collected. Instead of being absorbed by Qixing, it would be better for herself to gain more power. At this time, the soul armor on Long Ying's body expanded rapidly and turned into a huge spiritual body, Teodi. Teodi's mouth opened wide, and in the horrified eyes of countless evil spirits, terrifying suction force came out. It can obviously compete with the black and white world of Qixing. By this time, the evil spirits who had nowhere to escape looked desperate. Then I remembered that I was going to die, so it would be better to blow myself up. But these guys obviously overestimated their own strength. No matter which direction they go, they are destined to become food. In the end, half of the evil spirits entered the black and white world of Qixing, and half entered the mouth of the giant glutton. The next moment, Teodi's figure shrank and wrapped around Long Ying again, and Long Ying's eyes turned red at the moment she was wrapped in Teodi's coat, as if she had lost part of her sanity. Obviously the side effects of this ability are not ordinary. The monster turned around, and Jia looked at Qixing with a strange smile. Eat you, eat you, eat you. After saying that, he swooped down and bit Qixing with his big mouth. Qixing raised the corner of his mouth. Do you think you can be my opponent by changing your vest? It's just a joke. Before he finished speaking, Teodi's big mouth had already bitten Qixing. This black soul Teodi specializes in absorbing human souls. As long as it comes into contact with Qixing, Qixing's life may not be up to him. Advertisement. But at this critical moment, Qixing threw out something again, a small token with a golden word, corpse, written on it. The moment Teodi's big mouth passed the token, a big withered hand emerged from the token and directly grabbed Teodi's neck. No matter how hard Teodi struggled, he just couldn't get away from the owner of the withered hands. As time passed, a half-rotten corpse came out of the token. That's right, this guy is the Corpse King. Such a terrifying existence as the Corpse King has long transcended the 6 paths, is not in the 5 elements, and has no soul at all in his body. At this time, the Corpse King's body has recovered 50%, and now he can at least exert his combat effectiveness at the late immortal level. If the opponent is a soul restrained by the Corpse King, then it is probably impossible to kill him without going beyond the realm of the Corpse King. At this time, Teodi, who is in the middle stage of immortal level, is the best proof. When Qixing saw this scene, his eyes twitched twice, and the lines in his eyes rippled through the dark sky beside him. The next moment, this terrifying darkness was completely absorbed into Rinnegan by Qixing. This dark substance is not bad, it is actually a treasure that can warm and nourish the spirit body. As soon as light appeared on the battlefield and Long Awushan and Shark King closed their eyes, they felt the darkness disappear and looked forward. That bloody scene will probably be something they will never forget. The Corpse King was seen with his mouth full of saliva, and he kept looking at Teodi and Long Ying, who had been violently separated by him. He looked left and right, and then looked back at Qixing. It seems to be asking, boss, can I eat these things? Qixing chuckled and said, give me your soul body. A mid-level immortal soul body. You know how rare it is, and it won't have any effect if you eat it. The other one can be considered for you. But as soon as Qixing finished speaking, the Corpse King directly swallowed the fainted Long Ying in his right hand under the shocked gazes of Long Awushan and Shark King. Qixing was also confused when he saw this scene. Wu Sao, I haven't told you to eat him yet. Sir, how do you understand the word, consider? Qixing was speechless at this moment. There was nothing he could say about the upright character of the Corpse King. Maybe all things of flesh and blood are just food in the eyes of the corpse king. But at this time, the Shark King who came back to his senses roared angrily, "You be asterisk 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 D, you just ate Long Ying. Do you know his identity? You are dead. When I return to the Pure Land, I will let the adults they sent the undead army to destroy your entire ninja world, and you and I will not let you die too easily. I will extract your soul and use the Thunder Whip on the soul refining platform until your soul flies away, until. Just wait, you be asterisk 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 D." Hearing this, Qixing smiled. "I'm afraid you're not a joke invited by the monkey. Damn it, do you think he'll be stupid enough to let you escape?" After saying that, Qixing directly called Ant King. But the Ant King hasn't taken action yet. King Shark had already reacted, turned around and was about to escape from here. But inexplicably, a sharp dagger pierced his armor from behind and stabbed into the core of his soul, between the eyebrows. An extremely terrifying scream spread across a radius of 10,000 meters, soul-destroying dagger, Wushin, you will not die well. The sound pierced the sky and could break the eardrums, and the screams kept echoing. At this moment, a jade pendant around King Shark's waist broke into pieces, and a spiritual light wrapped around King Shark's remnant soul soared into the sky and disappeared from everyone's sight. Qixing wanted to stop it, but it was too late, and he knew that even the Corpse King at the late immortal level could not intercept that spiritual light. I can only let him float away. But what Qixing is even more curious about is Long Ao Wushin. Mr. Long Ao, why did you kill your subordinates? Chapter 182 Tianshuman officially joins the battlefield. At this time, Long Ao Wushin was calm and peaceful, as if everything he had done just now was done casually. After King Shark and Long Ying died, Long Ao Wushin's face no longer had the exaggeration of the previous performance. He just looked at Qixing and said softly, "The forces in the Pure Land are complicated. How do you know these two people are my subordinates? I cherish my subordinates very much. As for them, they are just tools in the hands of the superiors. Although their strength is good, their talents have been exhausted and there is no possibility of continued growth. If you have the opportunity to go to the Pure Land, with your talent, you will soon know the secrets there." Of course Long Ying's identity is a bit sensitive, but his death was an accident. He was killed by you while unconscious. It was also because he was unlucky. He had a treasure but no use for it. There is no one else here now. Are you going to kill me or let me go? Or you don't believe what I say? Mr. Long Ao was joking. Of course I believe that a being like you can say these things. The person standing in front of me is just one of your countless clones. I have no reason not to believe your words. Although you are just a clone, I know that even if the three of us put together, we can't keep you. I personally pose no threat to you. Ha 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 ha, good boy. You have good taste. But I failed this mission again. Even though I was a clone, I was scolded by those old guys when I returned home. Forget it, let's go. Although the seeds of the prototype of the world are rare, they are not very rare things. If they can grow into the prototype of the world, it will be almost the same. After saying that, Long Ao Wushin's clone just turned into pieces before Qixing's eyes and slowly dissipated. This guy actually committed suicide? What happened? Qixing was confused again. And Long Ao Wushin left a sentence at the moment when the last fragment disappeared. The aura that flew away just now was sent back to the Pure Land by King Shark about all the information that just happened here. I can block this aura for 3 years at most, and the 3 years in the Pure Land are less than 10 days in the ninja world. You're a very interesting little guy. Remember to come to the Pure Land to solve the trouble you cause. Hearing Long Ao Wushin's words, Qixing cursed directly, and pointed his middle finger in the direction of Long Ao Wushin who disappeared. Nima. This guy is very strange. He helped me again and again. Last time when Xixian's world was about to be destroyed, he deliberately opened the battlefield. This time he killed one of their own people in front of me. I really don't understand what the purpose of this old thing is. Forget it, everything will become clear when you become stronger. With that said, the 7-star figure disappeared from the top of the mountain. Things finally came to an end here, and after absorbing 2 mid-level fairy-level spirits and tens of thousands of powerful evil spirits, Qixing's prototype seed of the world finally began to grow. As long as there is a steady stream of soul power in the future, infused, it is only a matter of time before the rudimentary seed sublimates into the real-world seed. At this time, the scene changed, and the 7 stars once again came to an altitude of 10,000 meters, awakening White Phosphorus and Hydra. Sir, you are back. Has the matter been resolved over there? Yes, this person is an old acquaintance from the Pure Land, and I have already dismissed him. Is there anything going on here? Advertisement, sir. I have sensed that there seem to be several super terrifying chakras that are approaching the ninja world, that is, your black and white core. The strength is not yet clear, but it will never be lower than the 6 paths level peak. Well, I understand. It's time for those guys to show up. I made the noise so big. You two must not leave this core even an inch. He has reached a critical moment. It's my lord. Speaking, the two fell silent again. They continued to guard the black and white seeds in the direction of Lu. At this time, Qixing's figure flickered, and 4 clones appeared, with just a few flickers, and the 4 clones moved rapidly towards the 4 directions of southeast, northwest and northwest. After the green dragon and white tiger merged with the yin and yang time and space, and the 8 talismans and seals, there were only 4 light pillars reaching the sky in the southeast, northwest, and the sky, and the light pillars connected the heaven and the earth. The targets of the 4 clones are none other than the members of the Tianshou clan who are protecting the light pillar. In just a few blinks of an eye, the 4 clones arrived under the 4 light pillars at the same time, and the 8 teams of Tianshumen merged into 4 brigades under Qixing's instructions. The team numbers are Qing, Bai, Zhu and Zan. The images of the 4 light pillars also appeared in Qixing's mind at the same time. At this moment, Qixing took over the control of the 4 clones and looked at the people in Tianshumen. When everyone saw the arrival of Elder 7 Stars clone, they all shouted excitedly, "It's finally about to begin. We can finally start to participate in this war." At this moment Qixing spoke. "From now on, you can join this war, strangle the White Zetsu army with all your strength, and control the direction of this war. Report to me at any time. If anyone from the coalition forces of the 5 major countries stops you, you can kill them directly. Now let me tell you the intelligence of this war and your mission. First of all, Uzumaki Naruto and Killer Bee have already encountered Phase Impure World Reincarnation Army, and now they have begun fighting. Their purpose is to capture 9 Tails Chakra and 8 Tails Chakra. So, Chi, Shouty, you two are responsible for taking over the control of the tailed beast. And you don't have to hide your strength anymore. Those little tricks are not enough in front of me. The same is true for Shouty. Wood style and explosion style, the combination of this. Amato really spent a lot of money this time, but this ability is amazing. Let me see if your art is worth cultivating like this. Conan, Shao, you are the coordinator to help Chi complete this mission. Conan, you have fought against a Fei, and you know his abilities best. I will leave the team here to you. It's Master Qixing. Itachi Kisame, Kabuto's lair is in a cave in Nanshan. Go and find him. Itachi's mission is there. If Itachi doesn't go there, maybe my weak and helpless brother will not be as strong as he is. How much improved. The will of heaven will also return all luck to Naruto." Hearing this, Itachi frowned. He was the man who cared about Sasuke the most. After learning about Sasuke's current situation, he left the team without looking back and headed for the cave where Kabuto was. Upon seeing this, Kisame was about to follow, but was stopped by Nanahoshi. Kisame takes Gurren and these Mangekyo Sharingan, and gives them to Itachi when he needs them. And Gurren has the secret to resurrect Orochimaru. Go. Yes, sir. Xuanji, Shushin, come here, grown-ups. Well, now you go to the forbidden area of the Uchiha clan. Several guys will definitely go there, and among the resurrected people there must be people you want to see. They are a very interesting group of guys. It's my lord. For the rest of us, I have only one request. To show off the power of my Tianshumen. Take control of this war. Let's gather on the final battlefield. Yes, Master Qixing. Chapter 183 Classic Scene, 5 Shadows Battle Madara. Everyone roared in unison, the sound shook the sky, but before the sound disappeared, everyone was missing. It is obvious that there are many cage-level experts in the Tianshou sect, including Grandmaster Tiasong technique and Flying Thunder God technique. These guys are all eager to join this war to prove their status in Tianshumen. At this moment Qixing took a deep breath. Although I have added super recovery ability, instantaneous buff, to you, you will still die if you are killed instantly. I hope you won't become one of the nutrients in my black and white world. After the words fell, Qixing's clones also automatically disbanded, and the body of Qixing has arrived in the sky where the 5 shadows and Madara are fighting. How can there be no witnesses to this battle that is written into the history of the ninja world? When Qixing arrived at the battlefield, the battle between the 6 had already reached a fever pitch. In order to block Madara Rinnegan's sight, Mizukage Terumi Mei's fog shadow technique has covered a radius of 10,000 meters, but this cannot stop Qixing. His ultra-distance detection can already clearly see the situation 10 kilometers away. Below I saw Onoki being carried behind Rakage. While the super light heavy rock technique was being used, the earth style rock giant rose from the ground. Madara saw this and smiled disdainfully. Onoki, is this your growth? But the Colossus ignored Madara's words and raised its giant hand, which was more than 10 meters tall, and struck Madara's position. Madara snorted coldly and quickly formed a seal with her hands. Wood style, the world of flowers and trees has arrived. I saw countless vines growing rapidly from the ground, binding the rock colossus. The power of the vines became stronger and stronger, and there were more and more. The rock colossus was finally crushed by the vines. But it's not over yet. Countless vines were still growing. The vines were getting thicker and thicker, and red flowers began to appear on the branches. When Madara finished the hand seal of this ninjutsu, the earth at this time was covered by a sea of vines covering a radius of 10,000 meters. And the giant flowers growing on the vines began to bloom. This scene was very familiar to Tsunade. This was exactly his grandfather's ninjutsu, and the pollen emitted by those flowers had a strong narcotic effect. Everyone, be careful with that pollen. Don't inhale it. Gaara, lift off. Upon hearing this, Gaara instantly understood Tsunade's intention. The somersault sand lifted several people up into the air to avoid the spread of pollen. Just when everyone was focusing on the pollen, Madara appeared from behind the 5 people in a Susan. The 5 people could not avoid it in the air. Susan clenched his fists with both hands and struck with a powerful and heavy blow. 5 people hit the ground. The ground has become a sea of vines. I saw Madara forming a seal with her hands again, fire style. How Huo Yani followed closely behind, drowning the 5 shadows. The sea of vines below instantly turned into a mountain of flames. Terumi Mei also wanted to use the water style to put out the fire, but because the fire style burned out the surrounding air, she could only collapse. However, when the shadows were unable to struggle, a strange ball on Terumi Mei's arm suddenly lit up. It turned out to be life energy and activated automatically. A burst of blue light fell down, and the 5 people woke up instantly, and even their physical strength recovered by 30%. Qixing Jinren helped Wying at this time, and Onoki finally had the strength to use Dust Escape. The original world peeled off the technique, and only a burst of transparent light pillars were seen growing rapidly. The light pillars cut a circle around the surrounding sea of fire, directly clearing away the burned red vines within a kilometer radius. The 5 people also got a chance to breathe again. At this moment, the 5 people were performing ninjutsu at the same time, and Hokage Tsunade hit his 100 healings mark with his index finger, and opened the 100 healings technique. Advertisement: a terrifying power burst out from Tsunade's body, which was the power inherited from the first Hokage, the strange power. At this moment, Tsunade rushed forward quickly, gathered all his strength and punched Susanoo's defense hard. This punch directly caused cracks in Susanoo. Madara reacted, retreated, and formed another seal in the air to perform fire style. The powerful fire was extinguished. At the critical moment, Terumi Mei rushed forward to block Tsunade, water style. The water formation pillar was used, which completely offset Madara's fire style. Immediately afterwards, Water Dragon Bomb followed closely. Taking advantage of Madara's dodge, Tsuchikage and Raikage combined to circle back, Super Light and Heavy Rock, Lateral Bolt of Pain. Chop. There was a crisp bang, and a crack opened up in Madara's Susanoo. Just as Madara tried her best to defend against Raikage, Tsunade caught Gaara's somersault sand and kicked it from the front. Click. Susanoo's absolute defense shattered in response. Madara was also kicked into the mountain by Tsunade's powerful kick. At this time, Madara walked out of the mountain and patted the dust on his body. You dance well. I admit that you were qualified to fight with me. But that's all. But Tsunade was too lazy to listen to what Madara had to say, and struck again, with an angry punch that directly broke half of Madara's body into pieces. Then Gaara immediately used a seal to bury Madara in a sandstorm on the desert floor. Successfully sealed Madara. They were about to rejoice, but suddenly, a beam of light pierced Tsunade's body directly. In front of everyone's shocked eyes, Madara emerged from the huge vines. He said disdainfully, "What you just sealed was just a clone of the wood style that Hashirama had used before. But it looked lifelike. As a former enemy, I am the only one who can see through this ninjutsu. Who should I kill next?" At this moment, Tsunade cut off Susan's light blade with a strike of his hand and threw the light blade towards Madara, but Madara easily diffused it without even dodging. "You are so naive that you used my Susanoo to attack me, but you should be dead, so why can you still move?" When Madara saw the wound on Tsunade's stomach and recovered instantly, she finally understood that that guy had the same self-healing ability as Hashirama. At the moment when Madara paid attention to Tsunade, Onoki didn't care about martial arts, sneaked up from behind, and used Dust Escape, original realm peeling technique. Unexpectedly, Madara used Rinnegan to absorb dust release. "It seems you still don't understand me well enough. Is this all I can do with 5 against 1? I don't want to play with you anymore." With that said, Madara directly summoned 25 wood-style clones, 5 for each person, which was only fair. And just after saying this, all 25 clones turned on Susanoo. This made the 5 shadows a little desperate. At this time, Onoki shouted, "Don't lose courage, I already have a plan to deal with this group of enemies. Quickly lead all 25 clones together." When the 4 shadows heard about the plan, they took action immediately. Onoki once again overdrawn and used Super Dust Escape, Limit Stripping Technique. I saw a cube in his hand being thrown by Onoki. The moment he approached the group of wood-style clones, the cube's beam of light instantly grew to 100 meters. 25 Susanoo were immediately submerged. And because Madara used too many clones, she had no time to use Rinnegan to absorb some of this ninjutsu. He could only retreat quickly, but suddenly the dust split open from the middle, and a water dragon more than 100 meters long swallowed Madara. Then thunder and lightning kept traveling around the water dragon. Madara was also slightly injured this time. At this time, Madara finally began to take her opponent seriously. "Although your strength is recognized by me, whether it is the 5 shadows or other strong men, it is all in vain. I will let you see my true power." Chapter 184. Madara gets rid of Impure World Reincarnation and prepares the 7 stars of hard steel. After saying this, Madara clasped her hands together. The mighty Susan, in full body and Tengu form, appeared in front of several people. At this time, the 5 shadows all looked up at the giant that was more than 300 meters in front of them. Lost in thought, Terumi Mei murmured to herself, "This has surpassed the power of God. Can we really defeat it?" Tsunade was shocked. "My grandfather fought against such an enemy back then. How strong is he?" While everyone was pondering, they finally saw Madara's terrifying power as they wished. I saw the complete form of Susan, holding the sword with both hands, drawing the sword and slashing horizontally. The violent wind of the sword directly blew the 5 shadows away for 1,000 meters, and then the sword energy hit 2 mountains 10,000 meters away, instantly killing them. 2 high mountains are divided into 4 parts. With just this blow, the 5 shadows already showed despair. Even Onoki, who had encouraged everyone just now, opened his mouth wide, as if he wanted to say something, but couldn't. When Madara struck out at the five shadows again, Qixing finally couldn't stand it anymore. Although he didn't change the plot too much, after such a long time of plot development, he discovered that the Hokage's timeline was under his influence, has shifted back a lot. At this time, if Madara cuts off the world-destroying sword, the five shadows may only end up being annihilated. At this time, the five shadows completely gave up resistance, closed their eyes, and waited for death to come. But the system told Qixing that it was not the time for the five shadows to die yet, otherwise Tiandao would immediately show up to check if they found out that all the guardians of the children of Tiandao died in one go. That would be a big deal. After hearing the news, Qixing no longer hesitated. At this moment, Qixing was full of energy, and his golden hair rose into the sky. The super tournament started in an instant, and his strength directly increased from the early stage of 6 paths to the late stage of 6 paths. The figure even teleported, appearing in front of Dao Qi. He clasped his hands together suddenly, intercepting the sword energy that was only 0.05 centimeters away from his face. But Qixing's body was also forced back 1,000 meters by the force of the sword energy. The five shadows had already heard the approaching sword energy, but they could not feel their own death for a long time. With the sound of the explosion, the five people opened their eyes at the same time and saw a majestic figure standing in front of the five people. The five of them opened their mouths wide again. What kind of monster is this? It actually caught Madara's complete Susanoo's full blow with its bare hands. No, this is impossible. I must be dead. This is all a dream. As he spoke, Hokage pinched Onoki's shoulder hard. Onoki screamed in pain. Hokage, you be *******D. Why are you pinching me? Grass. Hokage looked confused. It's not a dream, we are not dead. Of course he's not dead. If I'm not wrong, judging from the clothes on this guy, he should be the elder of Tiansho sect. I have been in contact with Baogui and Peacock, and bought many ninja tools from them. They joined that organization, and their strength has reached cage level. Originally, the two of them have mediocre talents. No matter how hard they work in this life, they can only reach elite Jonin at most. However, after joining that organization, they successfully broke through to cage level in less than 3 years. Even I was yearning for it. But at that time, the ninja world was in chaos, and I didn't have the chance to investigate again. Now that I see those weird costumes again, I can't admit it. Tianshuman, that organization has finally surfaced, but since he stopped Madara, maybe he is on our side. Advertisement. Onoki thought a lot at this time and shouted tentatively, Senior, are you the reinforcement that Naruto invited? When Qixing heard this, he almost let go of the sword energy in his hand and split himself in half. At this moment, he said without looking back, stop standing there, get the hell away, Lousy can't hold it anymore. Only then did several people react and jumped away. Qixing also took advantage of the situation and pushed the sword energy in his hand away. The sword energy remained unabated and slashed directly to the rear. A huge explosion spread and smoke spread thousands of meters. After this blow, Madara also spotted Qixing and looked over with smart eyes. Is it you? Seeing Qixing's appearance at this time, Madara remembered that night 50 years ago. I remembered seeing how powerful this guy was with Hashirama. But it feels like this guy hasn't changed much in the past 50 years, and even his strength hasn't improved at all. But Madara doesn't care about this. At this moment, he just said out of curiosity, why, you are here to stop me. Qixing knew she was asking him. Turning to look at Madara. No, our deal is not over yet. I promised not to interfere with your plan. But now, although you have obtained complete Hashirama cells and can have an immortal body, you are still restricted by the caster, and your strength can only reach the middle of 6 paths. You are still no match for me like this, you should know. If you cancel Impure World Reincarnation and lose your immortality, your combat power will reach the late 6 paths stage at most. It's just the same as me, but even so, I don't take it seriously. Hearing this, how can Madara, who is so proud, bear it? HMPH, even if you are an ancestor, you are here to be surpassed by me. Now I have surpassed myself 50 years ago. I am no longer the weakling who needed your protection back then. Relying on external forces to improve your strength is not the best choice after all. Since you said that I lifted Impure World Reincarnation and you still don't take it seriously, let me see how far your strength has reached. After speaking, Madara quickly formed seals with her hands, and a pillar of light shot straight into the sky. This is the seal that removes Impure World Reincarnation and is controlled by the caster. When the beam of light dissipated, the cracks on Madara's face finally disappeared. And the aura on his body also rapidly sublimated at this moment. It quickly transitioned from the early stage of 6 paths to the late stage of 6 paths. Now Uchiha Madara has successfully obtained a body and is not restricted by anyone. Although he has lost the ability to resurrect from the dead, the Hashirama cells in his body are enough to recover most of his injuries instantly. At this moment, Madara looked at Qixing proudly. Let me see how much you have grown in the past 50 years. Qixing clapped his hands when he saw this. Very good, Madara. There are not many people I recognize in this ninja world. You are one of them. HMPH, Madara just snorted. He knows the strength of the guy in front of him. This makes him want to fight with the strong even more. Madara, an evenly matched opponent, can only ask for it. At this time, the two of them stopped talking nonsense. A terrifying air wave formed around the two of them, and the five shadows turned into small transparent bodies and retreated from the battlefield one after another. When the momentum of the two people reached a peak, the two figures instantly disappeared on the spot. Chapter 185 The ninjutsu that Guy unleashes is comparable to a tailed beast. When the five shadows raised their heads and glanced around, there were continuous explosions in the air, and the two people punched from the sky to the flesh and hit the ground. Click, boom, the moment the two of them landed, the ground began to crack, and the cracks began to spread again. After the two fiercely collided and punched each other again, they took 100 steps back. When the two people separated, Qixing formed a seal with one hand and slammed it to the ground, Earth style. Earth Dragon Colossus. Only 3 Earth Dragons were seen, madly crashing into Madara, and the moment Madara put her hands together, Wood style. Tree. When the world descends and is cast, countless vines rise again on the earth, and the 3 Earth Dragons are surrounded and suppressed by countless vines. Eventually it fell apart. Then Madara used Fire style again, and the fire was extinguished, directly igniting a large area of Wood style, and the battlefield turned into a sea of fire. However, Qixing had already predicted Madara's prediction, Earth style quicksand subsidence. Quicksand instantly appeared on the ground, and the countless vines sank to the ground one after another. However, the fire was too fierce and still rushed towards Qixing. Qixing clasped his hands together and shouted, Earth style, Earth and Stone Giant. On the ground, a huge sand-shaped giant stood up. The giant's big palms were like cattail fans. He clasped his hands together and struck them together. Countless dust instantly rushed towards the flames. As soon as the fire that had been extinguished by the powerful fire started to grow, it was sand and gravel extinguished. Seeing this, Madara frowned. This guy's ninjutsu is so targeted at my fire style. But at this time, Madara said stubbornly, don't be too happy too early. After saying that, Madara formed different seals with her hands, and then shouted loudly. Fire style, flame out, Tengai Shinsei. At this time, 2 meteorites over a kilometer appeared in the sky, emitting extremely high temperatures, and locked onto the 7 stars with their long flame tails. Qixing knew that no matter where he fled, he would be hit by the meteorite. Therefore, Qixing did not retreat. He silently took out the replica of Fangtian painted halberd that he had made from the space. He kept accumulating energy, and the energy continued to gather into this halberd. When the 2 meteorites were only a few hundred meters above the ground, Qixing made a big jump, jumped back, and then shouted loudly. Wa Jitian Gong. Cuts. The 5 shadows watching the battle only saw a terrifying halberd light coming out. The halberd light pierced the sky. In the shocked eyes of Madara and the 5 shadows, the flaming meteorite only 100 meters away from the ground was directly divided by the halberd light. However, the halberd light did not dissipate, but continued to slash in the direction of Madara. At this time, Madara was also stunned, and did not dare to catch the halberd light. She used the body replacement technique and instantly appeared 1,000 meters behind Qixing, split in half. Madara became even more excited when she saw this, and then she took a sharp breath and spat out towards the 7 stars in front of her, fire style, cyclone of fire. Qixing only felt a violent hurricane surrounding him, and then a fire broke out for no reason in the hurricane, and the temperature of the flames increased rapidly. Qixing's right eye suddenly opened, and the purple air from the Eye of Samsara overflowed. The purple airflow was swept up by the hurricane, and instantly filled the interior of the hurricane. The next moment, the hurricane disappeared without a trace in front of Madara. Madara was shocked and backed away. You can also seal the magic seal, and you also have the Rinnegan. Ha ha ha, didn't you see it? Madara. The shocked Madara did not forget to attack. At this moment, Madara knew that ordinary attacks could not harm him at all, and ordinary ninjutsu would also be absorbed by him. Advertisement simply seal Madara again, wood style, wood dragon technique. I saw 3 huge wooden dragons with long hooked noses and thorns all over their bodies suddenly emerge from inside the vines that were about to turn into ashes. The wooden dragons suddenly appeared around Qixing and strangled them directly towards Qixing. Nanahoshi is well aware that these wooden dragons can absorb the chakra of their opponents, and let yourself grow. But Qixing didn't avoid it at all. He just wanted to see how big these wooden dragons could grow. I saw 7 stars, transformed into a 100-meter-long Buddha, and 3 100-meter wooden dragons, surrounding the 7 stars one after another. The moment the wooden dragons trapped the 7 stars, they frantically absorbed the chakra from the 7 stars' bodies. In less than 3 breaths, the wooden dragon doubled in size, and it was still growing. Qixing also relies on his own chakra, Qi, in the big formation to be able to recover instantly, not afraid at all. Madara realized something was wrong and did not attack again. She just frowned and said, it shouldn't be that simple. What does this guy want to do? When Wying saw this scene, he was once again shocked by the power of the 2 people. What kind of terrifying ability is this? While feeling lingering fear, I decided to stay further away from the battlefield. It's really too dangerous here. As he spoke, the 5 figures retreated 10,000 meters again. Just as the 5 people retreated, the wooden dragon had grown to 1,000 meters, and the bodies of the 3 wooden dragons were cracked one after another. In the end, 2 wooden dragons could not withstand too much force and broke automatically. Only the last one is still struggling. After getting the result, Qixing didn't want to continue playing. Earth style, the Earth and Stone Colossus appeared and started beating the cracked wooden dragon directly. At this time, Madara was also a little dazed. Could it be that you are also a body turned from dirty earth? Otherwise, how could you have unlimited chakra? Qixing just chuckled and said, "You are overthinking it. My chakra is just a little too much, it is not infinite." "Okay Madara, show your true ability, otherwise I'm afraid you won't have a chance." HMPH, arrogant. As he spoke, Madara tapped his forehead with his index finger, quickly formed a seal with his right hand, and then slammed it to the ground. Qixing could see that this guy was actually summoning his own weapon. "I won't give you this kind of opportunity again." After saying that, Qixing's hands once again formed strange hand seals, fire style, sky fire crazy dragon, and saw 3 huge fire dragons flying over a kilometer out of the smoke, spinning around Qixing. When the smoke and dust met the fire, it dissipated instantly. As Qixing swung his right hand, he saw 3 giant flame dragons rushing towards Madara. Madara did not dodge at all, because his summoning technique was almost successful. I saw Madara raising her right hand. The moment the 3 fire dragons rushed towards Madara, the first one was directly absorbed by Madara. Seeing this, Qixing let out a light sigh. When using the summoning technique, you can also use the sealing technique to absorb the seal. "Madara, you grow up a lot, but there are still 2 fire dragons. Madara, how are you going to deal with them?" Madara knew that it was too late to use the sealing technique to absorb the seal again. At this time, Madara formed a seal in the air with one hand, wood style, and performed the Hades Gate. This move was Hashirama's famous ninjutsu, which was used to seal 9 tails. This time, Madara used it to seal the Skyfire Mad Dragon. And this move was also very effective. The fire dragon that was thousands of meters away could not avoid it at all, and was directly smashed to the ground by the 9 Hades Gates, unable to move. The flames around the fire dragon also continued to weaken under the suppression of the Hades Gate, and finally the fire dragon and the Hades Gate dissipated at the same time. At this time, Madara wiped his forehead. He finally realized the terror of the guy in front of him. Just the ninjutsu he unleashed was comparable to that of a tailed beast.